Hello, everybody out there, and welcome back to the live show after the episode of the premiere of Discussing a Murder 2, episode 22. Just want to say thanks to everybody who came over from the premiere. Let me see if I can check the chat, see if I can get everybody's name in here. Want to say thanks to everybody, and then also mute my YouTube video. Shandy, Gloria, TJ, Bob Bailey, nice to see you. Mystic Jinx, and who else we got here? Katie did it, and TTM Fangirl Case 10, Cher, TJ. I think that's most everybody. If I didn't get to Kathy, if I didn't get to you, I apologize. Michael, Bear, and let's see here. Who else? Maz, nice to see you. Thanks for coming on over. Master Cedar, welcome. And welcome to everybody here in the virtual studio here with me. So I'll just start around the horn here, as they say, and introduce and invite and welcome Calf first. Welcome Calf. How are you?
Hello
Tired?
everyone. Thanks for joining and listening today. That's it.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
If you're talking there, Jeff, you're muted.
Oh, I apologize. I was muted. Everybody have a good laugh at that. Jack, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the live. Glad to have you here. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Thank you very much. Thanks to my terrible scheduling last week, I missed the Discussing a Murder recording, but should be back on track. Hopefully, I'll keep a better brain lock on where we're at. I apologize for that. But anyway, it was a good episode. I watched it, listened to it, and it was a good discussion. Really good. And yeah. Hey, welcome to everyone in the live chat. Kelly and Calf. Good to be here.
Jack, I got a quick question for you before we go to Kelly. Do you remember that we made a deal? If Kathleen Zellner and Stephen Avery are granted a motion, we had a deal. Do you remember what that deal was?
I don't.
He doesn't remember.
I don't.
I had to put you on the spot. I just wanted to know. No, our deal was we were gonna crack open some decent whiskey or something. We were gonna have a drink just if she got a hearing. That's not even.
I do remember.
If anything,
I do.
If now you kind of remember it. Now you remember.
I'm pretty old, but I'm glad to get oiled up. You know, if that happens, I'll get oiled up with you online live. I'll do it.
Well, I just had one. I didn't know we have to get oiled up. But.
We get as excuses any, as I've heard.
Sounds good to me, Jack. Well, we re-upped that deal then, for sure. And moving on to Kelly. Kelly, welcome back. How are you doing? Good morning.
Hey everyone. Good morning. I'm doing okay. It's sunny here in Western Australia. Chances of a bit windy this afternoon. I'll be going down to the water to go for a crab, have a sausage sizzle, just to celebrate my mum's birthday this week. So happy birthday to my mum, and thank you everyone for joining us in the live.
Happy birthday to Kelly's mom. Absolutely. Birthdays are amazing. You made it around again. Congratulations to Kelly's mom for that, for having another birthday. Great. So last week, or I'm sorry, not last week, last time that we were live, we were looking through pictures, and well, I guess before we do pictures, I guess just for house cleaning kind of stuff, like where are we at with this motion, you guys? You know, where are we? How are we feeling? I was running a poll, and it said that, you know, I think at least half of the people that were in the premiere don't think that they're going to get a hearing out of this, and I guess that was maybe a little bit of a, you know, a little truth bomb there for us. That a lot of people out there aren't too, I guess it's half and half at least. Like I was expecting maybe a little bit more positivity, but it is where it is where we're at. This case is progressed quite a bit. If you guys have any comments on that, maybe I'm just alone in that.
No, you're definitely not alone in this one. I think it's just because no one wants to build up their hopes again to be let down. We know the patterns of Ange. Every time Kathleen's gone up against her, Kathleen has ruled against her, and the courts of appeal have affirmed Angela's side. So basically backed Ange all the way. I think there's a little bit of misinterpretation, though, in terms of the reply versus the motion and the amending. I remember, if we all go back in like a few podcasts or even a few lives where we've spoken about this, when we all said that we thought it was just housekeeping situation. And I even said that in one of the last lives, I went through the list of all the things that the state pointed out. And that was exactly what it ended up being, which was pointing out all the citations and the indexes as being wrong. They dedicated a little footnote to her and said that Kathleen's, was so mumble jumbo that they had to make an educated guess with what she was even trying to say, almost like a little passive aggressive dig at her. So I think what I was going to go with this point is I was reading a little bit more case law, and I actually ran it through Tracy, because what I found, I just wanted to have that confirmed, and we spoke privately, and she did say that what I had read and how I interpret it was correct. I just want to remind everyone that when Angela makes her ruling, she's not ruling on the reply. She's ruling on the motion. So when everyone's sitting there saying the reply is fantastic, it's the best one yet, she made some really good points in it, but that is not the foundation to what is being ruled on. It's just the PCR. The replies are just that. They are just arguments of support each other's positions, but they don't carry any weight in her decision unless she wants to. So if she decides that she reads the PCR and wants to deny Kathleen, she could go to Kathleen's reply purely to cherry pick all the mistakes and the bad things she doesn't like out of it and ignore the rest. And vice versa. If she reads the PCR and she decides that an evidentiary is hearing on a one or two bases, whether it's the Tom Skowinski credibility or whether it's the Denny claim and the Dassey computer, she can then go over to the reply and pick out all the points of favorable side to it that Kathleen brings out. But ultimately, she could read it and completely ignore it as well, and she legally can do that. And that's what I just was like a little bit like, oh, she made some good points, but then I found that she also added some new things that I can see that could potentially go against her as well. Whether people want to hear it, maybe not, we'll leave it. It's completely up to everyone else. But yeah, so I think everyone right now is just in their headspace where, there's a difference between, do we believe she deserves a hearing and should she have a hearing versus do we actually think it's going to happen? It's a really tricky question because what we feel and what we want sometimes is masked by what does the law is required to give. So I think that's something we need to balance out.
I think it's a good summation, Cal. I appreciate that. Jack, did you have something?
Well, just keep in mind that it's not been all against Kathleen, because the Court of Appeals did leave this door cracked, and that's where we are today with the new 97406. So it's not entirely bad news. It's mainly been bad news. I have to agree. So when you got these people that will use the term, knowing damn well that there's no other way to explain it, they use the term inexplicable as to why. You got a couple of prosecutors and some cops that are going through bones and handing them back to the family and say, well, we just can't explain that, guys. Come on. If they're willing to do that, and to me, this is me, Jack's opinion only. If they're willing to compromise themselves in that fashion, they're able to get away with it, obviously. They're an authority. No one's going to call them on it because they want Avery to stay in jail. Just like, pretty much any other prisoner that they convict. They're going to make you go through hell in a handbasket to get them out. Avery is no different, even though we dove deep into the case file. That for these people, probably some of it probably has some meaning, but they know the hot potato that this one is, even all these years later. But if they're willing to do that, and to me, I don't even think that's a real legal term. Inexplicable, as in we can't explain it, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine, guys. Really, it's okay. I don't know. I just have all kinds of issues there. But again, Court of Appeals did leave the door cracked and say, hey, these points here, X, Y, and Z, whatever we've got in this new 97406, they left that door open for her. So it's not 100% bad news, even though it's damn close to it. I do think that Kelly's right. She definitely doesn't have to reply. She doesn't have to comment any at all on these replies that the state or that Kathleen wrote. How much weight they carry, I think that's where, again, we get into the judge doesn't have to. She really should be objective, but she doesn't have to be. And that's, again, is part of the problem. So, but yeah, she's right. She's replying to the motion itself, not the replies, even though it was well done. It is what it is. That's all I got.
That's exactly right. And Jax, you're right. It's not a lost cause. They left a door open for her. However, we have to keep the balance. They did leave the door open, but if you read the Courts of Appeal, they put a footnote on saying that although the door's left open, there is still a burden of these certain procedures you must get to before you can go any further. And they actually kind of list A, B, C. For example, they're saying that we've left the door open, but for starters, you have to overcome a potential procedurally barring on the DASI computer content. The DASI computer content has been heard, has been ruled upon since 2017 when she introduced it as a Brady. The Courts of Appeal said that the content that they reviewed, that everything is already in the exhibits, that she's just replied in this exhibit, in this motion, has, their quote, been a misrepresentation of the crime. There shows no direct link to the crime, and that nothing has a striking resemblance to Teresa Halbach. So they've already reviewed all that. They also said in it that the other thing she needs to overcome with that is the fact that there is, show us what you have found new since you have been introducing this as a Brady since 2017. What is new? All you have ever given us is an opinion about an expert. What new technology have you done that shows that it is only Bobby? Because right now, Courts of Appeal said that even though we're leaving the door open because of Tom Skowinski, the direct motive with the DASI computer and Bobby is not there. There is nothing there that they can see that directs. You cannot just have an expert say that it was Bobby because Bobby wasn't at work, so he must have been at home. So they've already determined that. And when we read Kathleen's reply, this latest one, she actually addresses it and says, you're right. I cannot prove it was Bobby Dassey and only Bobby Dassey. But hey, let's have a hearing and find out who else it could have been, what other options there is, and such and such. That is where Angela has to then obviously make a decision about the totality of it. Is it as straightforward as wanting to get to the bottom of that? Or is it like, you know what, I could get everyone up there. All the boys could go up on the stand. They'll all deny using it. And what are we going to be left with? Because you've got nothing new. These are the things that the Courts of Appeal are pointing out to her. You have to show us more. It's got to be new. And you haven't given us new. So potentially you face another procedural barring because it's already been heard, already been opinionated, and has already been affirmed that there is no relevance. But again, it's not lost because now we have Tom Skowinski. We didn't have him, and they didn't have him when this came forward originally. So essentially, it's new. It will come down to whether the judge brings credibility to Tom Skowinski, because it goes hand in hand. You can't have Tom Skowinski's Brady without the Denny, because if it gets ruled that there is no Denny, he can't get up on the stand and start pointing to Bobby Dassey, because they'll say, no, Denny's out. You can't start doing that.
Well, we have some time, and it's going to be a lot of anticipation. And basically, I think that's where we're at, is like running polls like that. Basically, it's anybody's guess what she's going to do. So until then, there's a lot of pictures that we can go through and review. So I don't know. I think it's picture time. What do you guys think?
I love picture time.
Absolutely.
Jack?
Give me just,
Locked
give me
and loaded?
just, well, I'm locked, but I'm not loaded.
Okay.
But I will be.
All right.
Will be, I promise.
Because last time we finished, we were in the middle of a roll of film that was State Trooper.
These are
Reese and Judge.
There's Reese and Judge. Yep, there are 20 or 21 rolls of total. We went through 10 rolls, and this is the beginning of roll 11.
For all you people out there that are interested in what we're going to do after this, is we are going to look at barrel pictures and some evidence, personal effects and whatnot that's found and that was collected as evidence. So this should be pretty fun to come and check out these pictures again. And I don't know, it's kind of like the highlight of my week sometimes, is to just be able to go through this stuff. So what are we looking at here? Another angle
we're
looking out into the quarry from the Avery salvage.
Yep, that's what it looks like. And keep in mind, where we were. This is kind of where we were. Recent Judge, at least recent at this point, was basically walking around in the salvage yard, just taking various photos here and there. Hold on, I'll tell you what this roll is labeled. That's what I was doing.
Do we know what day this is again?
This is taken on November 7th, 2005, and it's just labeled salvage yard conveyor area. So anyway, I'll start here. And keep in mind also, most of these rolls have 12 to 20 pictures. It just varies, but typically 12, 14, something like that. So this is the conveyor area. You can see it's right above your head here in this one. And look at all that mess of cars there. I think just about all these are gone. The salvage businesses. It's pretty thin now, I think, but somebody that's been in contact with the family on a more regular basis would know. But I do know that, if you look at Google Earth and in comparison, the amount of cars that were there and what's there now is completely different. Another shot, looking down the conveyor.
Did this conveyor actually work? Did it operate? And what did it move? It was moving gravel?
Yeah, I think so. I think it moved, quarry rocks and so forth. I don't know if it still works or not, or even in real time. I really don't know that.
Well, I think it's gone now. I don't think it's there.
I don't think it was working then, actually.
Okay.
You think it was working?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I think I've read that somewhere, that it wasn't working.
Now, keep in mind, how God was going to stay and look at all these cars.
It's a good thing she found it in 20 minutes. Like a pizza, isn't that what they used to say about getting your pizza 20 minutes or it's free?
That's right.
That's fast. That's pretty. It's, okay, I'll put it this way. My opinion.
I just can't get over how many cars are there.
What's that, Cal?
It's just mind-boggling. I can't get over how many cars are there again from the photos that we saw last time as well, and then now looking at them again, I'm like, there is literally a sea of cars.
It is.
Thousands upon thousands of cars. It's just doing my head in. There's so many.
They got about all that metal.
You gotta pop those trunks. You better, open every trunk to make sure. But you almost don't have to do that, because if the dogs aren't hitting on a car, you really don't have to open the trunk. I mean, you could, and you could go get the keys, right? So unnecessary. Now, is that a law enforcement vehicle, I suppose?
Looks like it, or yeah. See a marking
Investigator or something, crime lab, or kind of looks like a sheriff's star on the side there. I don't really know.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me as well.
Keep people from getting past. They don't, that's why it's parked that way. That's a cool picture, actually, because we can really see the boundary here. This is where the property ends. This is where the quarry starts. It's really how things were. They have cars right tight up to the property line.
This makes you wonder how much rock is actually underneath the salvage yard.
I mean, I'm sure it's the same material that they used to quarry out what they did. It's just that little ridge, whatever left on that ridge.
Trying to figure out direction.
I'm sure there's a lot of aggregate. There's a lot of aggregate sitting there.
Trying to figure out what that. Trying to orient myself here as to what property this is over here on top of this ridge. Where we're at.
We just looked at this, and I can't remember now.
Is it the house on Jambo Creek?
Well, that's what I was thinking, but I'm not familiar enough with what this road is. But yeah, you could be right.
Back up towards Avery's, no? I mean, towards the to me, but I could be totally wrong. I just don't have my bearings.
Towards 140.
But look at how the conveyor belt is coming in. You see how it's coming in? And that's how conveyor
towards
belt road.
Oh yeah.
You talking about towards 147? That area, Jeff?
I don't know. I'm just looking at we'd have to look at a map and see which way the conveyor belt runs.
I'll quickly look at a map if I can locate that house.
Yeah, you'll be able to find it if you look on there. Can you zoom in on that this conveyor belt? I just kind of want to see, it doesn't look like it's working. It looks like it's not connected. It looks like it's just
you see like it's
come
fell
to
apart right there.
Yeah, it's come to disrepair.
What's that back over there? That's not the ambulance, is it? See that back there behind the conveyor?
It is. And if you look on the other side, you can see the front end, or the crusher right to the left there. No,
there.
Left. I mean,
back behind it there.
See it. No, I mean right there. There you go. That's the crusher. And this is what we were looking at pictures of. I don't got it. Must have been a month ago already now, when we were looking at the pictures that were being taken down in that pit at the same time, because we were basically watching them move other vehicles around with the front end loader. You can just tell through the photos. Yeah. There's the office right there with the little sign. There's that silo that we were looking for that is on the Avery property. I guess I didn't realize they had a silo. Was that ever searched at the time? Had to have been, huh?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, everything, don't check the silo, of course they'd have to. If you checked everything else and you didn't get the silo, that wouldn't be So, is that the other end of the conveyor belt, or is that where it broke off and it's just, they just leaving it there?
Oh, it looks like it just ramps. Looks like it just ramps down, but maybe it is broke. I don't know.
I mean, it's not connected to the other piece. That's what it seemed like to me. Anyway. Yeah, I don't need to promote the channel, but I appreciate that. Porn. Oh, did it even come up here? Oh, it got blocked.
Oh, did you ever a porn botter come and visit?
Yeah, I had a. But it's funny because you can't see it on the YouTube live, but you can see it in our StreamYard comments. It's funny. Some spam.
They
Yeah,
they
that-
pop
Spam
up
bots
and
are getting more creative.
That's definitely the Jambo Creek house with the conveyor
Okay.
running that way. When I look at Google Earth
Okay,
back
cool.
there in 2005, it's definitely the Jambo Creek house with the horseshoe driveway.
oh, okay.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Because everything, like when you look at maps, everything seems so far away. But when you actually look at the pictures, everything's a lot closer.
Yeah. That was a good shot of the conveyor, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, now we at least understand like what it's this big long machine, and you have to keep the brush clear of it both sides. So like that's where the road was. That's where you could get into Avery's from Redon's property.
Yeah.
Some good
Good
angles.
shot.
Like here's a car. Someone has bought up a couple doors. You know what I mean? Like, just leaving that one there. Yeah. So is that connected? It looks like it's still connected, but it's not
Maybe.
operable.
Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, no, it looks like it's in disrepair.
Yeah. Falling apart. There's another view of it.
Down basically on the ground. I'm guessing, they had some kind of belt system on here, and that would be another. If those belts were very long at all, that could become a real pain in the ass. I mean, I don't know exactly how that works. So, series of rollers or what?
That's a nice view. Just to get a.
Yep.
Oh, there's a big motor up top left. That's a huge motor. Yeah.
Huge.
It's a giant motor that's designed to pull that thing. Wow. Okay.
Probably a couple.
Yeah.
Probably a couple of hundred horses.
So that one wasn't working, but I remember Stephen saying in an interview that the Redance ran 24/7 and was like noisy. So noisy all day, all night.
If they were running the hopper,
sure.
and if they were running the like any kind of crushing thing, it's got to be so loud. You know what I mean? Because
loudest.
Yeah. You dump stuff into that hopper, which is like a giant funnel, and then that's like vibrating and shaking, so everything falls in, and then it hits the crusher, and the crusher is basically just smashing rocks into smaller rocks. Like it's got to be so loud.
Yeah, and then you've got trucks pulling in, getting filled up with all the gravel, and going out. Like, yeah, to just be noisy.
All right, that's the end of roll 11.
That's the end of roll 11. Well, congratulations, guys. There's another.
Yep.
There's actually a belt, if you can see. If you look, zoom in on the left there, you go left. There's a little belt on that. And another motor. Yeah, I don't
huge
know what
motor.
yeah.
All right.
A lot of parts.
All right, I'll load us up. I'll load us up another roll. We'll be going into roll 12.
Absolutely. Super fun.
Roll 12 was also taken on the 7th, and it is labeled Burn Barrel Avery Property. Actually, Burn Barrel. Go ahead.
Burn Barrel Avery Property. Is the 7th the same day that the discovery at Cuss Road? The non-discovery at Cuss Road?
That's right.
Nothing to see here, folks. So, I mean, it's just good to keep in the back of our minds, like, well, we are reviewing these pictures. What is happening while these pictures are being taken is somebody stumbling upon that. Whatever didn't occur at Cuss, like my wordage there. Whatever didn't occur happened today. Yeah. Okay. Well, now how many barrels is that? Can you zoom in? Because Calf just sent me a picture that
Looks like
clearly
two.
shows. That looks like two. Okay. Okay. Is that the same one that we were looking at, Calf? That picture? She's. I can throw it up here.
Again, I'm trying to orient myself. So that would be.
Okay, I'm gonna hijack just for a second there, Jack.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So we were looking at this picture, and this was taken obviously before Stephen was arrested. And you can see the barrels, right? Top right corner.
Interesting.
So
I do see that. I do see that.
Is that 2 or is that 3 barrels?
Hard to tell. You got to zoom and.
You can try to zoom. I don't know if we'll.
I definitely see. I definitely see 2 barrels.
It's at least 2, but I mean, I think it's possible that they're anyway. So I just thought that was an interesting photo for us to match in here, related to. And I'm going to put what you had back up. See if it looks the same. Hard to tell with that picture.
Yeah, this one's kind of dim. Definitely looks like 2 barrels though, but I don't remember.
Definitely looks like more than one.
Definitely, you can see. Yeah, unless there's just something weird going. I don't think so. No, I think that's 2 barrels that are kind of.
I got another version of the pic.
Okay, do it.
You should be able to see it now. I mean, it looks like a garbage bag hanging out the top.
Maybe that inside already.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on here? Yeah.
Kind of makes me wonder if they pulled another barrel over here, but they got crime scene.
Did you show the picture already of the other picture that I sent you, Jeff?
Yeah, I think you must have been away from your computer. I just showed that one.
Right.
Stephen's got the rake in the driveway over his shoulder.
Yeah. See how many barrels were there?
Yeah.
That's the same spot where he's going.
Yeah. Anyway, give the stream back to you, Jack. There you go.
Okay. So yeah, this is the first photo in this folder 12, and another one looks like slightly different angle, but this might be the same photo. It's just dimmer. I could probably brighten it, but I never have. This is exactly what untouched, basically. I don't know who that cop is there, but it definitely looks like a garbage bag there. Maybe. Well, I don't know. It's just not a good enough angle to make a real determination. Not yet, anyway.
I was muted. Wasn't there a cop designated to watch the barrel? And that's probably who it is.
At all times. Morning, noon, and night. They assign cops to guard those barrels.
It is a plastic bag on top of there, like to seal it so nothing else was added, or nothing, the weather couldn't get in there, or nobody could mess with it.
Nobody could mess with it. Yeah.
Right.
Now,
I mean, how hard is it to take a plastic bag off and put something in? It's just like the tarp, what we were saying on the RAV. Like, we'll put a tarp here so no one can do anything.
But is this a Dassey barn? This has got to be a Dassey burn barrel,
I
right?
think it's Stevens. I think it's Stevens. I know from the angle it looks like it's Dassey's, but it's on the other side of the driveway from their house.
Stevens. I think it's Stevens.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe there's just not as much room as I think there is between this area here and going towards the cornfield back here, right?
Because from the vantage point of the photo.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take a little dip in the pool now. Yeah, you can see another photo, I guess, of the same barrel from a different vantage point, right? From the
That
backyard.
looks like it's behind. Can you back out again? Sorry.
All right.
That's a different barrel, isn't it? No, it wouldn't be. No, you're right. It is
No.
the same.
Yeah.
You really get it's really easy to get your bearings mixed up here when you're looking. So now we're looking at the same barrel from another angle. Okay, good. But now the pit
from the
is
backyard
on the right. Right.
Yeah, the pit's over here to the right. You see the edge of the gravel there.
And Bear's doghouse didn't go up in flames. He was fine. He wasn't even warm with this giant fire that took place, you know? It's just absurd.
And then here's another angle.
Same, yep. It's just same barrel. See, now it looks like it's closer to Stevens, doesn't it? It like when you represent it from this photo, like, oh yeah, it looks like it's the part of that property, not
for whatever reason, I just had it in my mind the barrel was more over this direction from other photos.
We see he's standing between those two trees. So there's like a pine tree on the left, and okay, go back. I can't really tell from this angle. See, because the angles just mess with you.
It does. You need an overhead to really make the comparison. Anyway, I'll move forward.
Yep, more like look at here's what we were saying before. Look at all of these photos of the same thing. Is it really necessary to take 12 every angle? Like do a 360 of that barrel. Walk in a huge circle and take different pictures of it from every different angle, and then you'll get paid at the end of the day.
That's what it's like, you know.
It's like we don't, and like the pictures that they take are so excessive of the things that they don't care if you see, and then the things that are really important to the case, you can't find we didn't think to take a picture of that. Why didn't we think of that?
That's right.
See, now it really looks like it's at Stevens, not at the Dassey, because especially with the landscaping. Yeah.
Correct.
But in the other photos, it looks like it's right in front of their house.
Yeah, I think it's just vantage point, the camera itself, just because different cameras take different, the perspective, the view, So, yeah, there it is. And then, okay.
Looking at things from multiple points of view,
And this is what I was talking about. To me, when the other photos, it appeared to me that this right here was more over this direction to the left, but it's not.
It's not.
It's right. No. Yeah.
It really is all about how you take the picture and how you lay it out, and which angle you take it from, and is it in the foreground, in the background, and it's all in context, right?
Messed with my head there a little bit for a minute. Now I'm good. I'm straight now.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only one, so.
And of course, we can see the cornfield, and of course that goes straight down to Cuss Road.
There's a lot of houses. That's got to be over there on White Cedar Road back there.
Yeah, this is Cuss Road cul-de-sac back here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the quarry would be back.
That's right.
Right back. Yeah.
I like that comment, Ellie. They have to make it look like an investigation and not a planting. Oh, yeah.
It's the end of row 12.
All right. Well, I'm glad we went through those. Now I think that's settled in my mind anyway, that that burn barrel was Stevens, and I can see how from a certain point of view it would look like it was the Dassey burn barrel, but it just isn't.
Because the next folder is roll 13. It says little Cuss Road. Actually, the next two are Cuss Road. We've seen these before. We've shown these many times. Back over here. There we go.
All right. So then he goes over here. Just think about this. This is, do we know, do they work in a team, or did they just like, hey, you go take pictures here, I'll go take pictures here, Reese and Judge? Or do they walk around together? What do you think?
I think they're separate. I think most of these were taken by Reese, and then some of the last ones were taken by Judge. I think that's, if I'm remembering right. I'd have to look at the.
Like, think about the chronology here. We were in the quarry, in the salvage yard, and then now we're over at Cuss Road. He moved.
Yeah.
The cop moved.
Yeah, these could have been taken by Judge. I just don't remember. I think that there's a PDF sheet that comes with each roll that may tell who photographed which roll. I think that's right. So they've obviously already been here. They've obviously already been here and put up extensive amounts of crime scene tape.
What are they carrying?
Don't know.
What has he got?
Too grainy. No way to tell. Nothing but a stump.
Nothing but a stump. They like to use up that yellow tape, don't they?
They must have several rolls they wanted to get rid of, because I promise you that they went through quite a bit there. They had to.
Yeah. Well, they didn't just make a 10-foot, 20-foot circle. They made a 250-foot circle with it,
That's Trooper Austin up there with the total control unit, taking 2D measurements of the scene.
Was that ever presented, that total control data?
Well, that's what they used that along with photos and etc. and fed it into that software, and that's how they come up with that animation that Trooper Austin presented.
Why is the photographer always lurking behind trees and bushes? Just out on the road taking a photo.
That's hilarious.
That's a interesting comment. I can't answer that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why he took this one.
Is this the field that they're always talking about, that they said the RAV had crossed? I
think it could be. It's like between Cuss and Stevens' trailer. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Hard to tell from this picture where it is.
Yeah. I'm not exactly positive either, but I do think this is the cornfield or whatever that runs between what you just said there, Jeff, between Cuss Road and down towards the salvage yard over here somewhere. I can't tell for sure. Okay, maybe this is the ridge down right. I think, but I'm not positive. I'm going to zoom here just a little bit. It's too blurry. I can't tell. Just can't tell. Another one, same thing, looks like a little bit different vantage point. Clearly an opening there. It's gravel down. to get into this field. I'm sure you get into do whatever to the field, cut, plant, so forth and so on. Pretty dark back in there considering how kind of light it is in the forefront. All the canopy and tree cover.
You can see that bright yellow tape though.
Yep. And of course, this is coming down Deer Camp Road.
The whole road, they just like the whole road is sectioned off. Look at how they just waste that.
Off limits. Say the fuck out.
But why that side of the road? Why? You know, look at that.
Good point. I don't know.
Look at that big rock there. I'm sorry, but MVAC.
Back the hell out of it.
I mean, you don't know. I mean, if you think that she was beat to death, that rock, it could be, you know, we don't know.
And you can see that tape goes down. I can't tell if it ends there or down here.
I think it. Oh yeah, maybe there's more. I don't know, man. They love to use that stuff up.
Way the hell down that road, all I know.
They gave the rookie the job. They're going to go take this and see how much you can use. It's all getting billed to Manitowoc, right?
That's right.
Check half.
Oh, I was going to say that's an interesting picture, but it went real quick, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, which one? I'll back it up here.
Yeah, that one.
The logs?
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, I was wondering what they were. I know it's the end of Cuss, but it just looks different on that angle.
Yeah, somebody apparently clearly I don't know if that you know got a bunch of dead trees and you know cut them up and just made a big fucking pile out there. I don't know what they did. And then of course this is another one there standing right there looking up at the ridge. This is still relatively early. It says 8:30, but they all say 8. So it's hard to say exactly when this was. Earlier in the morning, though. But it's still relatively early because there's a whole lot more people show up. And I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can of Coke?
I just don't get. Yeah. I just don't
bottle
get
of tequila. Looks like a bottle of tequila to me if I ever saw one, you know. What are they drinking? I'm joking about the tequila. I'm just.
Yeah, what it looks like anymore.
Could be. No,
I'm just
making it's a lot worse. Like, what are they doing? Just having beers over there? Crack open a few and, you know, because they're not working. If you go back to that photo of them standing there, that's not work, folks. Look at that guy leaned against the car. That's not investigating. That's not standing around.
Also, too, where are the photos? Where are the photos of the actual spot that they think that they've found something?
I think we just cruised past a couple of those, didn't we? Or are there more?
No, I mean like right on the area that they covered with the tarp and everything. Like you'd have to have photos done step by step, wouldn't you? If you think you're uncovering.
We don't have those.
No, exactly. Why not?
Yeah, that's a good question.
But were any taken and we just can't get them, or were none taken?
Well, I think they were taken and we just can't get them. I mean, you know, everybody has to understand that, you know, even with the 3,000 whatever photos do have, there's still at least that many we don't. Been denied or degraded or just, you know, we can't get them. I still don't know what the hell they took this photo for. No, I just don't know. I don't know what that is. I mean, there's a rock. There's another rock over there, Joe. Somebody could get blapped with, but
I mean, you know, did they ever take a picture up close to that? No, but we got 46 different angles of Stevens burn barrel, all irrelevant because the ones that you need are pictures or video of inside it. That would be relevant.
I don't know if that's a piece of cloth or I don't know what
No,
this is right here.
Look below this. I think we figured it out one time. Now look below. There you go. That's the wasp's nest or something, and I believe it was connected there, and it fell.
Oh, yeah, that's very possible. Yeah, it's possible.
That's what I'm been sold on, but yeah, it does look like that cloth or something. You know what? The only thing that has truly degraded, Jack. Speaking of degradation, you know what has truly degraded?
What's that?
My patience.
I feel you.
For these people and their excuses. Oh, the what is it? Photos that have degraded. Is that what they said to you?
Yeah. Yep.
Photos have degraded.
The CD. I mean, the CD is degraded, so the photos won't load. Sorry, you can't have them. Denied.
I mean, I just want to say this. Then they could use that as an excuse for not providing the public with evidence forever. Oh, it's degraded. Sorry. That's why it's not an excuse. That's why we can't allow it to be an excuse. Well, send me
don't
what
disagree.
You got. Maybe my guy can pull something off of it that your guy can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give me what you got.
Or we're going to send a forensic specialist in there. He's going to examine all your shit. So, okay, this is the end of this roll. So we'll move on. Next roll of Cuss Road. Going to be roll 14. It's also dated same 11/7, 8:30 a.m. There you go.
I think that is standing on one foot on Cuss Road, looking towards Stephen Avery's trailer. And that red dot this is right there is Stephen Avery's trailer. See the red dot?
Yeah, I agree. Right. I think that big clump of bushes there are just where the deer camp is.
You talking about right there, Joe? Where my mouse
that's
is?
Right.
Yeah.
So if you were going to drive, that's where Redant supposedly drove from the tip of Cuss Road through this field, and he would drive right up to behind Stephen's trailer and talk to him. So the point is that anybody could have driven a car in this field zone and drive right up to, or walk, whatever.
Or walk, right up to absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, walking, no one's going to see you. Park over in Cuss, walk in. You know, that's a much better way than driving your car in to plant some evidence or something. You know, I'm not saying that that's what happened, but no one's going to see you. I'm pretty sure if you walk in there at night and you stay near the bush, no one is going to see you.
Oh, no. No. And I'm pretty sure we've got maybe a photo or two of the searchers in this, somewhere in this track. There's another photo, I think, of basically the same thing. This looks to be across the road before you head down into the deer camp. They're working hard here, guys.
Still leaning against that car. I wish we had timestamp on this. We could go back and look at that other one. He was leaning against the car. Same spot. His butt hasn't moved.
Yep. And I don't see anything there.
Got some more yellow tape. Got enough yellow tape to choke the judicial system.
I thought that was somebody standing there, but I can't really tell for sure. It's too grainy.
I think it'd be a scarecrow, if anything. It does kind of look like something strapped or tied to that thing.
I believe it is scarecrow.
He sure liked this angle here, though. If it was a Reese or Judge, whoever, they've taken a shit ton of photos from this side over here for whatever reason. And another one.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's-
Cuss Road does my head in. For the longest time, I thought it was like just a diversion, to keep a lot of law enforcement and emergency services and things like that away from, I don't know, maybe the salvage yard. I'm not sure, but as time goes on, I'm starting to lean more towards that they did find something there. What, I don't know. I'm totally confused on the whole Cuss Road.
What the hell's he carrying here, guys? What the hell is that?
I reckon that's a pole
Like a
that
tree trimmer.
no, not a tree trunk. Excavator users. So what they're called, and they measure areas.
A
Excavator,
measuring.
that doesn't sound right either. Oh.
Do we get another picture of this guy? Who is this guy?
I don't know.
What's he got?
You know, someone who measures distance. What are they called? Help me out here.
Oh,
Not an
Surveyor.
excavator.
Surveyor.
A surveyor. That's it. Yeah, it looks like a surveyor's
Thank you,
pole.
Case Pen. Thank you, Case
Thank you,
Pen.
Jack.
Could be. It could be okay. A transom on top. That's possible with a tripod.
Yeah,
Possible.
I'm wondering if there's any more pictures of it in the ground. Like in him
I don't
using
recall.
it.
I don't recall seeing any, but that doesn't mean anything.
Part of the tool that they used for that. What did you say? The guy was standing up on the ridge collecting data from the
Total control. No, it had its own thing. It that mechanism had a laser on it, or maybe two. I don't remember. I'd have to reread that information, but it had its own.
Part of it.
I don't think so.
He's leaving, like they're leaving, they're done, and he's packing it up. So he's walking back with it.
No, because he was up on the ridge over here, taking that. But again, it's not entirely clear about where Austin went to set that total control unit up. Not to me, it's not. Maybe it's clear to them, but it's not to me. And it's even more interesting as to why Austin would have been over there to begin with. Was there a wreck over there? Well, that's what they used that total control unit for. Mainly was to reconstruct an area for where a wreck happened, because it's able to extrapolate within a really tight distance. I won't say millimeters, but really close distances in, what do you call it? Like there's a terminology that I'm missing here, but it's able to capture in 2D effect within inches height and width, depth thing, and it stores that information, and then all that shit. We've got all those numbers. All that stuff got turned into this software, and they were able to create, like I said, at least the animation of the garage and all that. You remember that? I know you've seen stills of that. They did it with that machine, that software. I wish we had a photo of that guy, though, of whatever the hell that thing is. Don't see him in this photo. Don't know who Mr. Blackjacket is here either.
Yeah, why don't you zoom in on him a little bit? I think I want to take a little. I mean, what is this guy wearing? Excuse me, I couldn't hit the mute button.
Bless you. Don't know.
What is this guy wearing? Is he the creeper, the one who's taking all the pictures behind the trees, Kev?
Weird.
Looks like he's in his creeping clothes. You know what I mean? It looks like he's ready to go, and he's ready okay, I got my black clothes on, guys. The sun's almost down. What do you need me to do next? I mean,
I wish these were high def. I pull in too tight and it just grains out. Notice these. Let me back up here a second. notice that the ambulance is not here yet.
Is this before or after the ambulance? It must be before.
Gotta be,
because the
no,
ambulance
before.
stayed till after dark, right?
That's
the ambulance
right.
was there after
That's
dark,
right.
right? Okay. Yeah.
So they're out of order, and we had nothing to do with that. These are exactly how they were got from the state trooper, the
No
trooper's
worries.
office.
We're smarter than the average. We're smarter than the average bear. So not you, Michael Bear. We're not smart. We're not claiming to be smarter than you, Michael.
So we're going back in time as we go forward to film.
Yeah. But this is before that crime. What is that crime thing you said? The complete crime. Is that
The total control unit?
Total control. I don't know why I can't get that one. So it's not there yet. He's not here. He hasn't arrived yet.
No. And he sets up on that ridge, but I don't remember him. I just don't remember him being over on Cuss Road, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't. Looks like he's walked or driven down the deer camp road here, and he's a little bit up on an elevation here. And again, same thing.
Both sides, you can see this section, this large section that behind and look at this huge, like 2 football field wide. Like, why are they giving this much room to collect nothing?
Nothing.
Why would they have to be like, no, keep the public? Nobody cross this yellow line. This is a serious thing. 2 football fields wide for nothing, folks. Nothing to see here. That's, to me, in my mind, and now this is just an opinion. We're going into opinion territory. If it was me, I'd be like, I don't want them to see what we're doing. So make it a really extremely, like, ridiculously big crime zone. Like, tape off this huge, like 3 football fields wide, so no one can get even anywhere close to us to take a picture or do anything. Because I don't want them to see.
It's even worse though, Jeff, because remember, they blocked the road and wouldn't let anyone down there. And they finally said, well, okay, you can let the mailman down here, but get his name and address. What? He's the freaking mail carrier. You're going to I don't know. It just, anyway. At this vantage point, he's up on that ridge. I think I'll see another photo. He's relatively near where Austin ends up being. What is that? Bag and something there. Somebody sat down. Anyway. Okay, here we go. Looking at the quarry. And there's Avery's trailer.
I'm sorry, Jack. That's a really good question that I missed that from Michael here. It says, where exactly were the dogs stopped from entering? Do we know? And can we show on those pictures? I think is what he's getting at. I don't know exactly where they said, no, not here. I guess we'd have to, get a map out or something.
Yeah, we'd have to get the dog reports out and try to orient ourselves as to where they were and tracking from to get to that. Let me go back. Let me go back like this. Yeah. It's hard to orient and know exactly. I don't know which direction they were coming from, and I know from looking at these photos, this is looking from Cuss Road off to the right towards the burial, this temporary burial site. But I don't know if they were coming from the deer camp. I don't know if they were coming from the, down this way over here from the quarry. I don't know. Good question. Yeah, that's a good question. Cap, maybe Cap has a better idea, understanding.
If not, it's something that we might try to narrow down at some point. by comparing. Okay, go ahead, Kath.
What am I trying to work out? Sorry, I was just in the chat.
Do we know where the dogs were headed when they were stopped? Like specifically, can you point on a picture like, oh, this is where they were headed, but the officers stopped them right here? Like I think
they were going. If I remember rightly, they were like maybe going to. Oh yeah, that's
the deer
weird
camp.
when you look at that angle. I thought that they went down past the RAV, so maybe to the right, and then up past the deer camp that way, and then was stopped just past the deer camp as they got onto Cuss.
It seems like that's right, but I just remember specifically. I mean, that would be oriented from this photo. That would be down to the right of this and behind. Mm-hmm.
I've got that paperwork. I'll just grab it.
There you go. And of course, this is Deer Camp Road. Pretty rough. And well, they got those bobcats there. They should have went ahead and smoothed that shit out, Joe. Here's another one. It's looking off of this ridge, this berm, down to these guys working. Not working, actually, as it were. And of course, another one looking across the quarry. This area that they drive down this is the field over here to the left. Get back
That's
up
right.
here. Right over here. And then this is the quarry, got a little ridge here, or whatever you want to call it, divider.
And you could walk this side, but you couldn't drive that side.
No, without some difficulty, correct.
Yeah.
You'd have to have some probably specialized vehicle.
Drive down into the quarry from there, no? Can you back out a little bit?
Yeah, probably.
Looks like a ridge. I don't know if that ramps down or not.
It does look like it goes down.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I don't know how steep that is. I don't think it's really steep, but I can't.
It goes down, but does it go down, slope down? If you zoom in, you can see a little bit because look straight across the quarry. You can see where it is. There's a little cutout. See a little bit more to the right, Jack. See now, look, if you look up in the frame, you can see how much they cut down. If you go up your mouse, that spot up there, see to the right, you can see like that's the same elevation you're dealing with. You see where they cut out? There's like the
yeah.
So, I mean, that's what a quarry looks like. I mean, look at this side. Look at this side here, like behind these cars. There's so many spots to like hide, burn something, move something. Once you get behind that berm, Steven can't see you. And what are these vehicles doing down here? I'd like to zoom in. Those must be Redonts. Those have to. So he's got 2 dump trucks sitting there.
Yep. Well, if somebody was burning something over there, morning, noon, no one would question it. They wouldn't care. They got burn barrel all over the damn place.
I mean, it is true. It would be a place where you could, because you need time to do this, no matter who it is, unless you have access to. I guess they did have kilns at Redonts, but unless you have access to something like that, and you're doing it like out in the open and you're trying to burn a body, it's gonna take a while. It takes hours, to really get it down to the degree that she was discovered at. Let's put it that way. It's really.
Notice the dump trucks. The dump trucks are gone all of a sudden.
That's interesting, isn't it?
There they are.
No, there they are.
And now they're gone.
They were parked like they were talking to each other. I was going to say that, and then I was like, no, they're probably just parked. But that's exactly what they were doing. They were parked, and they were having a little powwow. I mean, look at all this debris. Look at all this nonsense. Like, just
Yep.
everywhere. Like you could find a like. How are you not finding how did you find the bones you did and you didn't find it? Like it's just a needle in a haystack out there. How did they find anything? It brings a lot into question, like the reliability of anything they found in the quarry, because was it Eisenberg was trying to tiptoe around if they were these are animal bones or not animal bones. She's the one that identified a fetus as chicken bones. You know what I mean? It's just it's I have a hard time with the bones. I really do. I have a hard time with the evidence. Where did they originate? Some of them they say came from the quarry, but we don't have any in situ pictures of that, do we?
Well, not other than what we looked at last time,
Right.
This by the way, this is the end of we're on roll 14, I think.
Cruising right along. Well, I'm enjoying myself. I hope everybody else is. Appreciate you guys tuning in after the premiere to kind of cruise photos.
That was roll 14. We're moving into roll 15, and it is labeled Redont Deer Camp. And there's 24 pictures in this one. Okay. And here we go. Now, as far as we know, that one's still there. I think we got one trailer here, though, that's gone. I think we've talked about the red one that's over here. And there's that gigantic rock.
Yeah, I'm gonna label that boulder.
Good idea.
It's big enough. It's big enough. We'll just call it a boulder. And then you can tell me what you think and call it Boulder Dash. It's all good. So this shed, what is this shed here on the left?
I don't know. I don't know if that's part of the garage.
Redont's little garage that he had there at the deer camp, I believe. Yeah.
Maybe another photo that might give us a better view. And I'm not exactly sure about this road, if it just ends here. I don't really know. There's a burn barrel.
Hey.
We looked at.
Just zoom in on that, because we're going to look at burn barrels in a minute, and let's get to know our burn barrels a little bit. We're going to have to get intimately familiar with these things if we're ever going to really understand, and that means remembering where bullet holes are and remembering where dents are, and I think it's the only way that we're ever going to get anywhere on the burn barrels is if we're going to have to be experts at the burn barrels. We're going to dig in, and because it's just such an open part of the investigation, and it opens itself up to so much funny business. And I hate to go there, but that's what it seems like when they're collecting burn barrels, and then Kratz is having them returned to the property and then collected again. And then processed.
Right.
What's that all about? There's funny business going on with the burn barrels. So I just think it's important for us to, and that's all I have to say right now.
Well, the chain of custody for the burn barrels is atrocious. It's so bad. Get back to the burn barrels. There's the double garage of the road we looked at before.
This time around, I don't know if you noticed it, Jack, when we were doing the discussing a murderer, I had to play it back, but Redont pronounces it Cuss.
Does he?
Isn't that funny? He pronounces it Cuss.
That is funny.
Road. Yeah, have we been saying it wrong the whole time? I'll go back and find the clip.
Also,
I swear to God, he says
no,
because it throws me off.
Oh,
and he says,
I believe you. Huh. I would have never pronounced it that way, but maybe it's
I'll be over
the
there
dialect in that region.
Cussing Road with you, Jack.
I've been calling it Cuss Road from the beginning.
I don't think it's wrong. Maybe he just says it wrong. It's not his road, is it?
Could be a regional thing, that or even local.
Well, Cuss rhymes with something that I tend to think about Ken Kratz, so I'm just gonna leave it right there.
Leave it there. Yep, I got you. And of course, we discussed this hanging.
I believe that's where you hang your deer. I believe that's where you would sling up your deer and hang it upside down. Either while you're dressing it or after you're dressing it. And they don't hang there long, but they do. My neighbors used to do it. They hang them up under the tree.
We'll let them bleed out, right? Get the.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's that simple. I guess I should have asked again. I'm not a hunter, so. But yeah, I mean that's where they hang their kills.
I know that in the far northern, and I'm talking about like Alaska, to keep other predators out. And
well, that's
because
another thing I think too. Yeah.
You don't want to store meat inside your home, so they'll take and build I don't know what they call it, but it's like this. It really other varmints can't get to it. Hang it up there and tie it up with rope and hang there, and it's safe.
You know what's missing from that picture? Is that there used to be a metal structure. I remember another picture where there's a metal, it's like more of a deer stand in one of the pictures. So I'm going to make a mental note of that. I could be wrong and being confused, but I swear to God that there's another picture of the deer camp, and right behind these two posts,
yeah,
right in that area, there's, unless it's on the other side, like we were saying with the Stevens burn barrel, from this angle it doesn't look like, right? But I know that there's another metal frame. I thought it was where your mouse is right now. That's what I thought it was. Metal framed deer stand or something in another picture. So I'm gonna and if you guys remember that in the chat, let me know. Maybe I'm losing it. I mean, I've been wrong before. It's okay.
This trailer here is gone. Been gone.
That's the one that's been destroyed, removed, and hauled off, and whatever.
More working. These guys are working.
I mean, at least they got their arms up. At least they're engaged in something with their arms up. Because that you have to.
That's true.
And as far as I know, I don't think they're Italian, so doing something more than just talking.
True.
Nothing. No offense. That I didn't mean it. No offense to our Italian friends. They'll admit.
And we looked at
with their hands.
We looked at one of these. I don't remember. It'll be in here, but this is a vantage point looking from the deer camp across to Avery salvage yard.
You can see everything going on over there, mate. If you had a set of binoculars, you can see into my Avery's house practically.
Yep.
I mean, you have to remember that every hunter has binoculars. So he knew what Stephen was up to. He knew when Stephen was burning. See, that's where that part of that story does ring true. And he probably did kind of know when things were going off over there, because he's probably Snoopy.
And looking down into the quarry.
For whatever reason, that's a ridge. That's like an 8 foot, 10-foot ridge. Unless you build a ramp, you can't just drive off of that. Like we were saying before, you gotta have a ramp built in. Otherwise, you don't want to. Although I've climbed up higher to elude law enforcement from a different quarry, but that's a completely different story for another time. When I was a underage drinker. I mean, I never did that.
No, of course not.
That.
It's interesting that this boulders right in this drive area here, though. I don't know what that's about, but anyway.
It's hard to understand where they've taken the dogs. To me, it sounds like, well, one of them clearly says that they crossed a cornfield with one of the dogs out onto Cuss, and this one says we then proceeded to the location. We were requested to check on Cuss Road where a potential burial site had been located. Upon arrival there, canine breeders checked the area after passing the area upon entry in the wooded area. Would that be the deer camp?
It seems
Maybe.
like that zone. I don't know if like where does your definition of deer camp end and does Redaunt's other properties start? You know what I mean? It's hard to tell where, because like if we go back and look at those pictures, when we come in Cuss Road, we have to turn right into that to go down to the deer camp. Then it goes straight a little bit. Then it turns left, and then it straightens out, and then you get to the deer camp. So that's not really near the cornfields, to be honest.
Kind of snakes around there. That's right.
Yeah, it's kind of more what you're saying, Kef, sounds to me more towards the spot with the all the yellow tape across from the cornfield. Cornfield's just right there, But to get to the deer camp, you're like, you got to go up the road, down the, over the hill and through the woods kind of thing,
I'm not sure what they've
Here's a
got
bucket.
here. Oh, yeah, that is a bucket. Yeah, that's right.
It's a square bucket. I mean, you get an understanding of the terrain around here. What is that on the bottom left? Can you go back there, back one picture, and then bottom left, that bar? What is that straight bar there on the left? Or is it just a tree? Zoom on in. I thought it was like a rebar.
It's definitely
first.
It's some kind of stick. I don't know. Is that a rake or something attached to the end of it there? I don't know what that is.
This one here, Canine Loof went west in a picked cornfield. Directly south was a gravel pit, and in between the two was an area of bush and trees. Canine Loof worked this area with indications of a very strong scent. Canine Loof worked west, coming out to a cul-de-sac that was taped off with crime scene tape, and 2 deputies were not allowing access.
There you go.
Yeah. It says
so where did it enter?
And then we're told not to go any further.
Cuss Road.
So
cul-de-sac.
They kind of walk the dogs kind of around the deer camp and up the drive, and then when they approached the officers, they were told to stop. So which way did they come in and meet the officers?
Well, basically that all come from I think
the deer camp direction or the cornfield direction.
Well, Loof did do a cornfield. It says Canine Loof worked east along the cornfield, entered the Cuss Road cul-de-sac, entered the crime scene area to leave shortly after, heading southwest to a large log house.
That's what's the log? Wait, what's the log house? That was one of those.
I don't know, because these are 2 different days.
I think that might be the name. Oh, okay. That might be the neighboring property.
And then it says it worked east to the gravel road, then entered the woods again, going into the marked crime scene area. Loof was looking at the area of possible grave site then. So they were basically, they let the dogs in. I remember Brutus hit on a shovel. Then they took the shovel away. Then Brutus was brought back in. Then he didn't hit on the shovel again. But the dogs were showing a lot of interest in the area. I don't know. For some reason, I think law enforcement were.
Brutus is a cadaver dog or a scent dog? Brutus is cadaver or scent? I'm sorry.
I think he's cadaver.
So
I know Brutus
cadaver dogs don't hit on other animal blood. So if someone was hunting over there and they were, using that shovel and they got a bunch of blood, raccoon, rabbit, deer, bear, squirrel, chipmunk, the dog is not going to hit on that shovel. That dog is trained to hit on that shovel because of human decay. unless I've mistaken. If I'm mistaken, please correct me. But I think it's just an important point to. It's not a mistake. You know, it's not a mistake if a dog hits on a shovel. That's how I feel about it.
Well, if they're
It
not
brings
trained
up some.
specifically, as we talked about, it could get really confusing, especially out in a rural or forced setting where a lot of animals die. They'd be hitting on everything. Anyway, all right, that's the end of that role.
Thank you. Didn't get, too fired up from that roll, but I'm getting a little bit warmer. What do we got next? Something, I did get a new iPad, Jack, so I'm being really careful not to smash this thing going through these pictures.
Next is roll 16. This was taken on the 10th. This was taken on November 10th. It says road through to Redont Deer. I don't know if we're going to get too fired up over this, but it should be interesting to look at. Okay.
Is it just
And
me,
again,
or is there more than one barrel out there?
Where?
I'm not sure where you're seeing.
Which picture were you talking about, Kev?
Yeah, that one. Oh, sorry. I'm on delay. I'm on the other. Oh.
You're on the.
Yeah, I'm not with it today. I'm just tired.
This is looking again from. Looks like around the deer camp across the quarry. There's Avery's trailer right there.
That's right. Another angle. It's almost like we're kind of headed on that direction where they were going, where he saw the flames, or where he claimed to have seen the Dassey burn barrel.
Too bad these aren't high def. Get a better idea. I'm zooming in, but
see the yellow behind Stephen's trailer there? It looks a little bit yellowish. What's that?
I think it's an old school bus.
Oh, okay. Thought it might have been the front loader, maybe.
It's so grainy on. Whew. And he's taken like 5 photos of the same thing here. He's moved a little bit, but not much. I don't know. It looks like he may be trying to angle on, like you said, from where Rodin said he saw these flames, but I don't know. I mean, to me, Avery's burn barrel would have been about right in here.
See, I don't even think from that angle, see what we're talking about before about the angle, I don't think you could see a Stevens burn barrel burning from where Redant said he did, but that's just me.
I tend to agree with you. Not from where he said we think he was at.
Where Ken Kratz would argue with us, he would say, it wasn't in Stevens burn barrel, it was in the pit. And that, if there was a fire in the pit, you would be able to see the glow from Redant. Yeah. So we're back.
No, I think I worked it out from where he said he was coming from the gravel pits back to the deer camp. At a point there, the only barrels he could see would be the Darcy's. So I think he was correct in saying, and it was contained to a 55-gallon drum, just glowing orange, no flames or smoke or anything at that time. I think I think he was probably spot on. There's no way I don't think he would have seen Stevens. Plus, anyway, he drew a map, and it's definitely the Darcy barrel that he saw.
Yeah. Another vantage point. Completely blocked here, well, pretty much. You can see the tip of the trailer. Yeah, I'm not sure what this one's about. He's taking a photo of another cop here, it looks like, or someone, or searcher down into somewhere in the quarry.
I think he's surveying.
Could be, yeah. Very well could be.
All black again? I think it is.
Yep.
It looks like him. I mean, it's true, Allie. They did get that tip that someone thought they saw Teresa taking a picture of a cow. And I've heard people that thought that, kind of was believable. It was possible. But I think that the day of that sighting was too far after the fact. But anyway, I agree. I think it's possible that Teresa was like, and I think that's why people did take the idea of oh gosh, what's the caves right there?
Maribel.
Somebody knows.
Maribel.
Maribel Caves. Yeah. The Maribel Caves are right there. So if you're a photographer and you like that kind of stuff and you're like, this is interesting and different, like, oh, I'm only 10 minutes. I'll be like 5 or 10 minutes up the road. Then she stops. That someone's around in the parking lot. When she stops, something happens. It's a cave. The phone goes out. I think that's why some people did at some point considered that the Maribel Caves could have been a location for her to go and take photos afterwards. It's close enough where if she got to the caves and hiked in there, and that's why her phone wasn't pinging. I mean, it could explain a couple things, and I think that's why they did actually retrieve some quote unquote collectibles, I guess, from that area.
Looks like the other side of that, where they hang their carcasses and so forth. Looks like a little bit better photo. I can see
like
actually some
there,
Yep. That's right.
Make it easy for you to put your rope up.
That's right.
But there it is. If you look to the left now on that photo, Jack, I think you can see that metal. Maybe that's part of the trailer. Excuse me. Never mind. I'm still looking for like this metal part to this thing. So maybe I'm dreaming that up.
And here's the bottom of the burn barrel we looked at a minute ago, set up on blocks.
I can't help trying to work out every little identifying mark on each barrel to see if they've done a swapperoonie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does kind of look like a chicken bone there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that is. I blew it up there, but it's so grainy. Maybe. I don't know.
Looks like a joint. Elbow joint or a knee joint of an animal or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's a chicken bone.
And there's a good photo of a barn barrel set up on the blocks.
Yeah, and you see, like he's got a bit of a dip.
Weren't these hunters goose hunters? I mean, it could be a goose bone, right? It could be whatever they were hunting.
Goose hunters, and someone also used to lay traps there. So what would they be trapping? Because I'm not a hunter.
Could be, they could be trapping, I guess, raccoon. I don't know. What would you trap? A fox? What would you trap? I mean, what is
Why would you track a
rabbit?
trap a fox on Redance? Rabbit, maybe. Yeah, rabbit. What else would there be? Rabbit.
I guess rabbit traps
I'm
are
not
kind
sure,
of
but
the thing.
Oh, it'd have to be a rabbit, wouldn't it?
There are a lot
So
of rabbits.
And they must get the occasional deer too, because they've got that hanging deer stand at the deer camp as well.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's part of that area is wooded, behind those people houses, and then it connects Cuss Road connects to Redance, and it's all like forest and wooded area. So I mean, deer are just loving it there all the time. So what do we got here, Jack? Can you zoom into that
I'm not.
boulder?
Yeah, I'm not sure what.
On there. Pair of gloves?
I'm not
Looks
sure
like
what.
Yeah, it's a glove.
It's what
That's a
what it
glove.
looks like.
That looks like another tool or something. What is that? The blunt and bloody. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It does look like a pair of gloves, but what do you need gloves for? Chopping up bodies? I'm just saying. I shouldn't say it like that, but
Yeah, you're not going to be picking those rocks,
like,
those boulders up.
Well, exactly, and was that just a photo? Was it a mistake? And those are actually the cops' gloves? You know what I mean? Like, we just don't know.
No.
But they did. There's a burn barrel, and they taped it off. Like, think about that. They taped it off. Why? Why would you do it if there's nothing there?
Yeah, I got to mute for just 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. So they tape off this burn barrel at Redance, and they tape off the help me out here. What is it? The grave site, the clandestine grave site. But then they say, "Oh, nothing is happening here. Dogs hid over there, but nothing's happening here." I mean, I hate to say it, but I think that's why I have looked a lot at Redant, and I know you've looked a lot at Redant, Kath, and there are some circumstantial things that kind of start building to make the case. He brings a lawyer with him to talk to KZ. He didn't have a lawyer when he talked to the cops, but he's worried about Kathleen Zellner. I just don't know. I'm not making an allegation against anyone on the Redant. But the thing is like, Redant doesn't have to be guilty of murdering Teresa Halbach for someone to dump her remains in his burn barrel either. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have to be, guilty of murder to have, someone dump her remains on his property. And that's why I think you need to keep a clear eyes about it, that just because there are things, dogs are hitting on shovels, on his property, doesn't mean that that means that he has to be responsible for that. And I think it's important to mention. But there's a lot of interesting things happening over at Redance. I know, Calf, you've spent a lot of time on that. Jack, are you back?
I am back.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I don't know. It's a funny one. It's like if you're looking at Google Earth and you're looking down at the auto salvage yard, the deer camp, Cuss Road, and then of course the Mishkot gravel pit, Manitowoc County, and then you've got all this evidence and where dogs have hit and things like that, and then you've just got Redance in the middle. It's like the golden ring around Redance property, and everything else is just on the border or just off the border of it. But yet they've got the dogs indicating that the car was basically, the RAV was taken across the cornfield, straight to Cuss, or, that's where the dogs have taken them. But the dogs are indicating a high head check in the area of around the deer camp, around that bushy area, so much so, in fact, that they tell Redant that they think that the RAV had been parked on his property at some point. So I don't know. I find it a bit difficult to understand when there's so many hunters and people coming and going that it was never seen. I think a lot more happened on that property than what we're being told.
Well, I mean, at very
I
least,
agree.
we can assume
I
that
agree.
someone,
I agree I agree with Cap there, Jeff.
yeah, someone dumped. It doesn't mean that Redant did it. That's my point, though. Like the same can be true, right? Like things can be found in his property, and he's like, I don't know how that got, because he doesn't know how it got this. Same thing with Steven. I don't know how that got there, right? That doesn't mean that and that's the only caution that I want to say. Like when we say these things about Josh Redant's property, it's not an accusation of him. Actually, it's just these. Why? Well, why hide it? Because it changes the narrative that there's evidence all over the place. So we can't just say it's Stephen Avery and close this case really quickly. And I think that that's what it comes down to. Like they just want a clean case. They just if you find any evidence not on the property, like what to do. Don't present that, because then we got to change the narrative. Like, oh, I guess she, and then he spread her, and they would have made a story. Well, then he was trying to dump her off his property, onto the neighbor's property, and they would have incorporated that into the narrative, right?
And Wardy does make a good comment there about the hunters gutting out any animals that may be there. I'm sure the scent dogs probably picked up on that.
Yeah, that's the thing about what a lot of people. Well, 2 points here. I'm not a hunter, but I've worked with a lot of them. Actually, pretty much all the time. If they kill a deer or whatever, they field dress it, which means they gut it and leave the guts there. Anything that they're not going to use, it gets left there, and then they quarter up the meat, whatever, for packaging, easy to carry, and it's gone. They're gone. Field dressed. So it's basically blood out right there. But I'm not a hunter. Anyway. Oh, that was another point I wanted to make. It was a good point you made, Jeff, about property. A lot of people think about their property. Most people don't own, 5, 10, 15, 20, or however many acres, and don't have to think about somebody being, 20 acres other end of your property dumping whatever the hell it is. You have no idea how it got there because there's another way in, and you don't have a clue.
It doesn't automatically make you guilty of the crime. That's right. Like, and you make a good point. Like if you have 100 acres and someone dumps a body on your property, the cops they will look at you and they will question and talk to you because they will want to know everything you know. It doesn't by default make you the person responsible for it. And I think it's just like most of us have small properties. So if you found something on my property, I wouldn't know it was there, It's just not the case. Redant, look at how much territory that this property specifically, this deer camp, was not his daily, I don't think. I mean, maybe Calf could speak to that, but this was used by a lot of people. It was, there was big turnover of different people on there different days. And so I don't know if he was even there daily.
Well, Calf probably knows, but I think they had a problem over the decades of bodies getting dumped in in that quarry and various things.
Well, I think as long as you bring it up, there was a body found in that Manitowoc quarry before in the 70s. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. I just think it's important to say it, that this, put it into context though, and I'm sure you guys know her name. Calf, do you remember?
Deborah Sakawati.
Deborah Sakawati.
Yep.
See, even in this statement, Brian once said he said a car had been driven through Redant's sand and gravel pit to the back of the salvage yard. He recalled a time when 4 kids were caught driving back there.
Yep.
So it's seems to be quite a busy little area. Like, you've got people hunting, you've got people trapping, you've got Redant going and grabbing a beer. So you've obviously it's a meeting place for a few of them as well.
You probably got teenagers and whatnot that drive off to the quarry or whatever to have some drinks and maybe some love making and so forth and that kind of thing. You know, you just never know.
Yeah, and a lot of them use it to get to work to a dance. They go down Cuss and past the deer camp and that way through to work.
Yep.
So,
Jeff, there's your hanging thing again. Meat hanging.
But was there a metal component to it this time? Can you go back quick? I was grabbing some water.
No.
Okay.
That's all right. No, I don't see any.
Oh. Well, you know what? I think I've realized what I've confused. I believe it was installed after these photos, and I saw it in MAM 2.
Oh, okay.
There's a metal, like where that Jeep is. I believe in MAM 2 that there's like a metal structure, like with steps, and it's like a better version of what they have there with wood. It's got another place to hang stuff, but I believe I'm conflating that with MAM 2. Is that graffiti written on that? Or just the shadows?
I think it's shadows. Another photo out somewhere there in the quarry.
Where are we? Because this is a ramp now. Like we were talking about, if you want to get up, there's only a few places to get up. Here's one of them where you could walk up.
That's right.
But it's impossible, I think, to know where we are. This is just behind Redance.
Yeah. Okay, that's the end of that roll. Moving on.
Caca.
And now we're moving into
this is a really good point, Cap. Redant allowed the cops to just show up there and search. He didn't even have to be there. He left the door open for them. Whatever, just lock it up when you're done, But then when KZ comes around, he lawyers up. It does. The posture is questioning. It is. It's interesting. But like I think we said just 5-10 minutes ago, if someone found a dead body on my property, and I know I didn't do it, I'd still want a lawyer.
Exactly. He could see surely he could see where all this was leading and where it was going.
Right.
The law enforcement are telling him that they think that the RAB was planned, had been parked on his property at some point in time, but yet
and it's possible that her body was there for a short time on your property, right? Like and I'd ask anyone out there in chat too, the same thing. Like if remains of someone in their car were found in your property, I believe, like, what posture would you take? You didn't do it, but you're like, hey, someone, I need to get someone to represent me. You know what I mean? I need to have someone represent me through this because I don't want to make any mistakes. I want to make sure I get it right. And it is strange, and then at the same time, I could see how someone could change that into, well, he lawyered up, when it's strange because Kathleen Zellner has no legal authority. She can't arrest him.
No.
So this is next folder is it's roll 17 and it is dated the 10th again, and the folder is labeled skid steer, burn area, quarry.
So we got a skid stir. Okay, so yep. This was near the burn area, and this is Avery's. I just want to say this to you that if you had access to what it was Brendan's confession was, they roll her up into the carpet and put her on the
dolly.
The creeper for the car, dolly,
the creeper, right? Dolly.
But you have access to this. Do you know what I'm saying? You have access to heavy equipment, and you're gonna, do this ridiculous, on the dolly and. Well, there you go. They're kind of demonstrating like how you can move a car with, if you see how the bucket is
Yep.
yeah, that's interesting. I don't know why they decided to plant it like that, or what vehicle is this? Looks like a geo
Don't know.
tracker. I owned one like that. To be
I'm not
honest,
sure.
that's what it kind of looks like. It does look like a geo tracker. Interesting. I don't know what that was. What was the relevance of those pictures? I really don't. I fail to see what we were looking at. You know what I mean?
See, he's got
Right.
the
It's like
surveyor pole again.
There's the surveillance pole, and a nice big tarp. Check the level because we got to make sure what level the bones were found at because that's so relevant.
right.
You know, it's like.
This is yeah, this is the 10th, so this has been the tape's been up for several days now. At least 3. 2 maybe.
I'm thinking
8th.
singe marks and black stuff, and you just don't see anything that looks like. Anyway, these pictures aren't going to show you anything anyway. It's why
Nope.
why did they even take them? You're not going to get any detail from here. You're just
More workers. Got a lot of work going on back here, guys.
hands up or hands down. Oh, hands in pockets. That's one.
There you go, Calf. Right there.
There it
Surveyor.
is. There's one guy with hands in a pocket. It's 2 guys with hands in pocket.
At least this
Who's that on the
guy
right?
in the middle.
Wow, I love this picture.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this one before.
Now, who's that woman? The big hair.
Good question.
And is that the guy
know.
that's dressed in all black? Remember, we've been watching him walk around.
Could be
That's him.
All black.
back here.
Yeah.
Why is he dressed in all black? We don't know, because then you can't tell who it is from a picture.
Yeah, because he's got a hood on as well.
Unbelievable.
And more.
Okay, get the tarp out, but then like a couple days ago, they were just pulling it out with a skidster. But now they've decided.
Now it's important.
Yeah, now it's important. Yeah, funny.
Well, they didn't even come back on the 9th. This is the 10th. They left it on the 9th all day. And this looks like the quarry. I'm not exactly sure why we're back in the quarry again, but here we are. Mounds of gravel.
It's like an advertisement for Redont. That's all you could use this photo for.
Pretty much. Oh, here's something.
What do we got here? An animal? It's kind of. Can you zoom in? Another burn barrel dump. I don't know. Yeah, interesting.
Not exactly
Organic.
Sure. Could be a burn barrel dump.
Could be simple like that.
I just sent you a picture, Jack.
Okay. Let's see here.
It was just sent to me, but it sort of gives an indication on what Jeff was talking about before on how tall or deep the quarry is.
I'll fill that one here in a minute. But yeah, that's an interesting photo. Okay. I don't know who this guy here is in this photo. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. I think it's the state, but I can't really tell. Anyway,
I think
that
it's
looks like the
state patrol, yeah, but we don't know who or what. What are they
looks like the
flagging?
track between. Looks like the same road that we've seen before. You remember in some of the earlier rolls?
I think we were on that little trail. Yeah. I think we've seen those flags actually. We've seen images that are closer to those flags. But yeah, I mean, you could creep up right behind Steven's house right here, walk in.
Yep.
I'm not saying that's what happened. It's just the reality of it. Like, if you were trying to do something to Steven, you could walk up Cuss Road right there. You can hide behind that berm. You can see where you could hide. You could watch him go out to walk over to Bobby's house or whatever, or, walk over to Chuck's house. I mean, you could see everything happening, and I don't know. Kind of creeps you out because Josh Radant did it. He just rolled up and just started talking to Steven right by his trailer there. Hey.
Isn't it interesting that all this dirt's dumped in back here behind his trailer? Who the hell did that? Is that what the state did? With all the dirt from the burn pit?
It does kind of look a little
and where the hell
there, doesn't it?
It does.
A little bit.
But there's no weeds growing. I mean, there's a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe not. And there's Grand Chute.
Is that our guy dressed in all black again?
It is. This guy's been in everywhere, isn't he?
It's probably Colburn. He's everywhere. That's why I say that. That's an interesting pile of just in the middle of the ground there, middle of the property.
The gravel.
It has no relevance.
I think Radant said that he delivered a big load of gravel over there.
That would be a big load of gravel.
At one point.
I mean, I guess if they used it for different things, like, hey, Radant, drop us a big load, and then they use it, as they need it for different stuff. Who's that woman?
I'm not sure who she is. I don't know. They used for guard duty and various things that everybody was signing up for a little bit of overtime here and there. And that's the end of that roll.
Moving right along.
Moving right along. You know what? I'll show this photo that Calf sent. There we go.
Yep. There's another one of those flags.
It is.
And it has been marked, but we don't know what the letter is because there's one of those yellow tags, but we don't know what letter. So useless.
I just sent one more as well.
That's the whole thing with these. They make it look like they've really done something, but they haven't done anything. Here's a photo that you can't use. Here's a photo that has no relevance. Let's do that a few times. That's how I get my pay at the end of the day.
Ayola.
Make it look like working.
Yep. I'll be sure this other one that Cap just sent me. There we go. That's a good photo, Calf. I like that.
I really like that one. Can you
I do
zoom in
too.
on our guy there? And then those trucks afterwards? What do we got here?
More difficult with my browser versus the.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a beauty, that one, because you can
That's not
still
our-
see like work as usual going on. Look at that front
That's right.
loader, a truck.
Yep. You got a guy over here.
Is
That
that
truck
one of
over.
those dump trucks we saw before? That was lined up. Remember, they were.
It's like
Two trucks.
how can this all be going on with this amount of people coming and going? Like even one of the hunters had been there on 15 occasions from September through to October. Just one of them. Just
They were
one
there
guy.
15 different times hunting.
Yeah, 15 different times
Wow.
hunting. And then you've got one trapping. There's like 4 or 5 hunters that regularly go there. Then you've got Josh Redant, then all his workers. And as you can see, there's workers even working in this little gravel pit behind the aviaries. There's and it's a 24-hour construction. It's constant. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. You would have thought that, especially, once the dog's tracked off the property there pretty quickly, you would have thought that. I don't know how all that works. That the sheriff would have said, "Look, we got a problem here. We're gonna have to do some searching in your property here." Now that starts interfering with business. Now you got another problem, right? It gets political and all that stuff. All right, let me pull up the next roll here. So we're moving on to roll 18, and it is labeled Avery Property, Blue Shop Building. And there's 12 photos in this roll. Oh, we're going to have an ATV here. There we go. I don't know whose four-wheeler this is.
I like the cushion on the back from the couch. Couch cushion. That's a nice couch. Yeah, I don't know whose it would be.
Got a Trevor hitch on the back.
They had a lot of stuff. They love. Not only did they have that stuff, but they loved that kind of stuff. ATVs, off-terrain vehicles. That's a different one. That's a newer one. No cushion. Now I got pretty good eyesight now. Right there, is that an old booth from a McDonald's?
I don't know about being from McDonald's, but it's definitely an old booth chair. Yeah.
I'm going to say McDonald's. So there's that.
I've seen these before, but
yeah, I used to have one, or it could be a Suzuki Sidekick. But I think if you zoom in on the back, if you zoom in on the back there, that little, I believe that's the label, but we're never going to be able to see it. Okay. Could be a Suzuki.
Not with these photos.
Could be a Geo Tracker. That's a
this
Ford
back of this truck.
Ranger.
That's piled up with all kinds of freaking look like radiators. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. All radiators.
There's the flatbed, or at least one of them.
See the old man driving that truck.
I think this is the old flatbed. I don't think this is the new one. Yeah, because the new one I think is an international.
They got wrapped in a tarp there. What's going on in the background?
I don't know.
And it's like they're all looking at the guy taking a picture, like they don't want him to take a picture.
Yeah. Why are you taking those damn pictures for, Knob? Turn that off. I don't know.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird. I'd never noticed it before.
It doesn't look like the RAV, but
no.
Why are they all like? Who knows? Yeah, what are it is the Rav. Is it the Rav? How did they get it out of there? I thought they put it on a flatbed. Then what is this big red? What is this thing? What are they doing? Somebody tell me out there. I have no idea what they're doing.
That's the door on the right, and that's is that a Rav in the back of it?
So I was wondering.
The door looks like it's not hanging off at the top. What's going on with the door at the top? It's not connected anymore.
I have no idea what that is.
Surely this is not the Rav because it's got a tarp all over it.
It's too narrow to be the Rav, I think.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
You know what? It could be the golf cart.
Maybe, yeah. It's more likely the golf cart because look at the. Yeah, I think I would be.
Because yeah.
But we still don't know. But we don't know. I don't even know what this red thing. What is this red storage bin? It's like a dump truck bin or what? I have no idea what we're looking at.
It's almost like a dumpster with a door that opens.
Mystic Jinx thinks
it's not a dumpster, but
date of the picture. Do you remember? Is it the 10th? I think it was the 10th.
According to the folder, these were taken on the 10th. I don't know.
I have no clue what that is.
There you go.
Some more surveying inside
there
every salvage warehouse. They got to get
there. You go, Kat.
Going.
Gotta make sure their floor's level.
I think they brought the Bobcats and the Bobcat was already taken because we just saw a picture of that.
Yep, that's the Arctic. Another one of that. Shop area. Radiator.
Yeah.
That's the end of that roll.
Has no relevance to anything. But nice work there. Thank you. Anyway, State Trooper Reese and Judge. Really appreciate your efforts sucking up the taxpayer dollar, taking useless pictures.
And then roll 19 says, this is on the 11th, 2 p.m. Avery Property, Blue Shop Building. These are really worthless, guys. We're going to go through these quickly. Why they would take these damn photos? I remember seeing these now. Ugh.
It's just nothing. Like, that's what we should have done. We should have an award for the most irrelevant photo. Okay, nothing.
But you're going to get nothing.
And it's kind of a duplicate. Okay, what's this now? That's
more nothing.
Sawdust or what? Nothing. What do they think they're taking a picture of? The red stain? They think that's blood or something? Oh gosh. Sawdust and dirt and crud and clay.
They took a bunch of photos of the same.
And maybe looking for blood, but they test for blood. They just take pictures to take pictures, you know? Thing is if you see, okay, now I can see what they're looking at. That is a track from the front end loader or another vehicle that was out in the pit and drove in here. That's what I see, because it brought its tread in. It's dirt, but what relevance would that have?
Yeah.
This looks God, the front end loader was in here. Okay. Maybe they keep it in there when it rains heavy. Like, it doesn't mean anything. You see those red stains and you go, well, if it's blood, let's check for blood. Otherwise, it's hydraulic fluid, you know?
Right. Could be old transmission fluid.
It's probably what it is. Transmission fluid. There's a lot of, reddish colored liquids. I don't know what hydraulic fluid looks like, but
typically hydraulic fluid, unless it's burnt, is more kind of a golden goldenish color.
Yeah. Yeah, here's more of, oh man, Nothing Town.
And that's the end of that irrelevant roll.
Oof. Yeah, you might want to label that sucker irrelevant.
And then the last roll, I think we've got Reese and Judd is roll 20 was taken also on the 11th. Avery property, blue building, blue shop. And this a little bit more, well, I think all these are probably irrelevant, but we'll look at them anyway. We'll run through them quick. Okay, it's going to pop in there. It's like more of this red stain here, red whatever.
Well, is it some sort of fluid and then they threw sawdust, or that there's like a mixture that you can get for cleaning up chemicals?
I always use cat litter personally, but
Cat litter, sawdust, both
Yep.
work. I know that there
Yep.
are special mixtures that they make that are designed to suck it up really well. But yeah.
to me, this looks like this leaks, drips, nothing. And they could have told right away with the phenolphthalein test if it was tested positive for blood. Here's another photo of that Geo tracker, that whatever that is.
Oh, it says Geo right there on the hubcap. That was right.
Yep, sure does.
That was right. It was a Geo tracker. I win the Crow Award today. Top Crow.
There you go. Front end's a little crunched up, but another photo of the skid steer or front end load or whatever. Somebody's driving it.
Looks like Fassbender's red coat.
Oh my God.
Come on,
Could you
show your
imagine?
face. Show your face. Zoom in on him. Can we see who it
Can't
is?
see it. It's blocked. It's blocked.
He did it on purpose. Oh, absolutely, he did it on purpose.
Sure he
knows
did.
where the camera was. Oh,
Uh-oh. Not Fassbender.
Not Fassbender. Who is it?
I don't know who that is.
Surprised they didn't blur. Okay, there's a better picture. I have no clue.
No idea.
Looks like he's sleeping.
Might have been. But these are some pretty worthless pictures, though, I got to tell you.
Yeah, I mean.
That's it. That's the end of that.
Now, who's that? Who's that guy? Look through.
Actually,
and see if you can't zoom in on that guy's face.
I seen a picture on, I think, Jinx. Oh, was it Jinx? Someone had it, and he was like smiling for the camera. Is that the same
that's
guy?
what Jinx was just talking about. Oh, actually, yeah, that might be the same guy. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, there's other photos. I'm not sure it's with this bunch of photos, but I know who Jinx is talking about. I think that guy was from maybe
he was
that
out
one.
there, he was out there digging up Stephen's pit.
Yeah,
and smiling for the camera.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm thinking that might be.
I don't know who this guy. I don't know who that is, Jeff. I'm not sure.
No, I don't.
I first thought it was Uyghur when it was kind of back, but then when I zoomed in, I'm like, nope, that's not Uyghur. I don't know. There were so many agents on that property. It's hard to say. Okay. That's the end of Reese and Judge photos. 20 rolls. Or 21, whatever the hell it was.
Oh, that's all of them, huh?
That's all those.
Whew. That was a lot to see, and then a lot of nothing there at the end. I just got sent this photo. And we can see how deep the berm.
There you go.
The berm. There's that blue truck again in the foreground. You know, I mean, we can kind of thread the needle on when these were taken based on the movements of people, other people. You know, we can kind of, calibrate that a little bit and understand. So that was helpful to kind of, get a clearer look. Oh, I thought was I sharing it? Yeah. And then I got a bunch more. I have a bunch of photos. How am I going to share these? First, we can start with I'm going to put this.
Start
These
with
are
the pictures
four
where
photos?
what really happened, Jeff.
Say again, Kath?
Put the pictures up that show what really happened.
Yeah. I wish I had them. I wish I had them. All I have is more burn barrel pictures. I think you. Who sent me these 4? Was that you, Jack? You sent me these.
Yeah. These came from. These came from Pete Moss back last summer, fall, and which, of course, again, like I was telling you before we went live, led to many, many other photos. But go ahead.
Guess what? There's only one burn barrel there now. Where's the other burn barrel?
Yeah. You noticed that, did you?
You can even see the ground. Looks like there's been one there
you can
before.
See where the ground, yep, you can see where the ground is. It's been so hot, nothing will grow there. So one of these burn barrels has been removed already.
Mm-hmm.
Funny business begins. Ugh, okay. We'll go to this one. So single, see, they're taking a picture. You can even see the block. See the blocks in the foreground, guys, where the second one would sit on?
Yep.
And they're representing it as one burn barrel now. Pretty cool of them, huh?
Very cool.
So did they remove Stephen Avery's burn barrel so they could fill it with stuff and then put it back? Where's that other barrel? Not cool.
Yeah, he had actually sent me this photo here originally, asking me if I could identify these people. And I think we might have identified one or two.
What do you got there, Jack? Share it when you get a chance.
Oh, okay.
And then I was starting a folder.
Well, if you've got something to show, go ahead. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I just got to find that folder. Where did I put that? I was just building it.
Yeah, because the ones I've got, there's a lot of them, and I'm not sure how far you want to start and get there, because these are.
Oh, okay.
Find it?
Yeah, I just don't know how I'm going to present it because they're just in a load of pictures. I wonder if I just highlight them all and open them all at once. It's not going to work. Oh, yes.
So when they were doing all the search warrants, no one was home on the property when they were like doing that, searching all the properties.
No one was allowed to be home, if I remember correctly.
I find that really weird.
Okay, so I have a roll of photos. Some of them are scattered in, and some of them you can see that are, oh, there's a couple duplicates of burn barrels, but well, maybe I have triplicates, I don't know. But we'll get a chance to see some photos up close that maybe we haven't been familiar with. So this is the one that we showed earlier, right? There's 2 burn barrels. But now whose property is that? See where we get kind of messed up? I don't know. This is messing with my head now, guys. With these 2 barrels.
This is messing with my head too, but the fact that isn't that the Darcy house there on the left, and that's their driveway? So
Yeah,
those burn barrels on the right-hand corner would have to be Stevens.
But I don't remember.
I don't remember that blue house though. Or is that Stevens and he painted it red? Because there's pictures of red paint all over the front doormat and red paint in his laundry.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Maybe this is a really old photo? And that's before he painted his trailer red?
This might have been back a little bit when he first got out in 2003. Could be
well,
between
at least we know now, because that makes the positioning of the burn barrels kind of irrelevant then. Because if this is months and months ago, then we don't know. He may have moved them, or he may have only had one at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think it's good that we figured out that this is from before he even painted his trailer red.
Yeah, because that's definitely his trailer. Look at it.
And is that buzz cut? Look at that. It's like when he was going through his early on in his court case, and he was down in Milwaukee. He had really short hair. Anyway. Here's a photo that I know that you like to look at, Kath.
Yes.
This is underneath the steering column in the RAV4. Is that correct? And this is a hair that's hanging in the vent. Thought that was interesting.
It's still in the pictures after the RAV had been processed, ready to be locked away. It was still in there then.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it could be Sherry Haynes, one of those long blonde hairs. But Teresa also had hair that, like that, right? So here's an interesting one of the I guess it's not labeled, so we don't know if it's the driver's seat or the passenger seat.
I think it's the passenger seat because see where it's cut out there? I think that's
and I do see
where
is there blood on the left side?
Cut that spot out, yeah.
This little bit here. I mean, this is an MVAC thing, right? Because, when I interviewed the president of the MVAC systems, he told me, if you can see the stain, then you don't need an MVAC. This is for things that, except for, unless you're like, oh, I can see the stain, it's in the pores of a rock, and I need something to get in there. Unless there's like a special reason. I guess this would work if you were like, but I think if you could see the stain here, I think a good, technician should be able to lift the biomatter up out of a carpet thread, they're not incapable of lifting stuff, but that MVAC system, it would be the next kind of level up. So here's a different seat. Here's a little straw.
I think that's the driver's seat. Yeah, I think that's the driver's seat. I think so. Yeah, because they disassembled them. I don't think I've ever seen these photos. Where the hell did you get these at?
Where did I get these photos?
I don't think I've ever seen them.
Yesterday.
I got them from Kath.
And I know Cap got them off her computer.
She found them on her computer. I asked her where she got them from her computer. Yep. So it looks like we got a triplicate here of these photos. But
That was false.
Like we were saying about the burn barrels, they've written on the burn barrel with chalk. Well, I don't know about you guys, but how hard is it to wipe chalk off of a burn barrel?
Not hard at all.
I mean, that's where it's like then your label doesn't really mean that it's a label. It's just more shoddy craftsmanship. Now put tape on there. Put one of those stickers on there that you can't just easily pull off. That's when you would use a sticker. But no, they decided to go chalk on this one. This really important evidence.
They should have used it. They should have used a stencil and spray paint
or something, right? Or a sticker, because if someone tries to take the sticker off, it's going to leave marks. You know what I mean? Like anything other than chalk, which is like the lowest common denominator. I can just wipe it off with my hand or a wet rag. You'll never see it. It's gone.
That's right.
That's one of the things that when I saw it, I was blown away. I was like, what? Chalk? That's how you're doing this? So you tell me what barrel is what, and whose barrel is a Dassey barrel and whose barrel is an Avery barrel right here.
There's no way of telling. Not from that.
And they're all next to each other, so we don't even know. I mean, there's also other buckets. Look at all these square buckets. Here's Save Big Money at Menards bucket right there. Bill it to MTSO. What are in these things, and they're right next to the burn barrels that all this evidence was found in. I mean, it just got to make you wonder and think.
No chance of cross contamination there, huh?
I guess not. So they have a tarp, and they put a tarp in this barrel, and then they took a picture of it, but not close enough that we could read the label.
Yeah.
Rendering it almost useless.
Useless. It is basically useless.
Can I zoom in on this here? Oh, it's number 1. See, Jack? This is the number 1 barrel.
Yeah, number 1. I think Stevens was number 2, but don't quote me on that.
No, that's Dassey's was burn barrel number 2.
Oh, okay.
What's more number 1? Well, here's a better picture.
I don't remember It's so confusing. Even if you know, you don't really know.
Exactly. What do we got here? We'll never know.
I don't think you could read it
because of the shoddy craftsmanship. I mean, that's the thing, is we can go through burn barrel pictures. It's interesting. Now, what number is that? A 3 or a 5, or what are we? A 2? What do you suppose they're trying to get at here? 3? I think that's a 3.
Maybe a 3. Number 3.
They're playing tic-tac-toe, or is that the number sign? These jokers, man, I tell you. And that says number 3, Avery Prop. Kucharski. Good job, Kucharski. Although if Kucharski put his name on it, how do you know Lenk didn't find it? So number 2, they were saying, was Stevens?
No, number 2 is Dassey's.
Oh, number 2. If you look, does that say 11 something 05? The date. 11. I can't read that number, and then 05.
Can't tell.
That's what I think it is. Number 2, in case, because it shows so much with their photos.
Okay, so I've got some pictures of the red tags up close, and it's saying barrel number 1, Avery property. Barrel number 2, Avery property. What the
Oh
hell?
my God.
Like the actual hell.
Well, this next photo, I'm kind of excited about. This is one that I was looking at last night. This is the back of Teresa's RAV4. Now, how weird is this? That isn't there like live evidence, blood, like in the back of her RAV, or is this after it's been processed? But anyway,
I think this is
it
after
doesn't
it's
claim-
processed.
And look, so there's the tripod bag and all this stuff. If you zoom in, I don't know what this is. Anybody? But I was zooming in on these photos, and you can. Oh God, I think when we're broadcasting, I don't think I can read it clear enough. But we were able to make out that this one of them said blue pen, and I think blue pen is in this one too. So there's a blue pen in here. There's a blue pen in here. And then what was the other item, Calf? Do you remember what we read on the bag? I think it's just too hard to see on this broadcast. It was window wipes. So it was a package of window wipes, and that was bagged up with a blue pen and put in these paper bags. And so I think what we were saying is that all this stuff doesn't seem like it was ever really processed or put into evidence. So it's in a bag somewhere in the RAV, and we're not really sure what all this stuff is. And the only reason it becomes relevant to me is that
I think that silver whatever cover could be covering the spare tire cover. I could be wrong because they took it off. It's definitely definitely took it off the vehicle when they took it to the crime lab. I could be wrong about that though.
Well, I guess the point is that, and this is a bigger point about the case, is that, depending on where we end up, depending on where, here, Jinx can answer my question. Hello, welcome, Mystic Jinx, thanks.
Hello. I just want to make a quick comment. That silver box is the box that was on her hood. That silver thing, you don't know what it is? That was on her hood.
Yeah. On her hood? What does that mean?
That was the box that sent Pam right to it, right? The garbage on her car.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that was just sitting on the hood when the car was found. What is that? Do we know? It's just a box of car parts or something? Okay.
I think it's just a cardboard empty box that was duct taped.
Taped up with duct tape?
Yeah. What's that?
You don't fingerprint that? That's not worth fingerprinting?
Come on.
I don't know if that was fingerprinted or not, to be honest.
I don't think so. I don't think it was.
And this picture is the 13th of January. By the way.
Win, lose, or draw, KZ's got her thing going on, right? If that doesn't work, you got to find a new avenue. And the only way to find a new avenue is by finding new evidence that points away from Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey. And we have to go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. And I'm saying, here are some items. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if these are relevant. I don't know if you could do anything with it, but that's the mind frame that I think we got to put ourselves into. If this box was found on top of the RAV and it was never fingerprinted, doesn't that seem like something? Maybe nothing, but hey, man.
Being that it's sticky tape, maybe they can do that MVAC stuff on it.
Did the killer or the planter have to touch that box to put it on top of the RAV?
I would think so.
Sure.
Yes. So, I mean, unless you're wearing gloves, which we don't know either way, but that's all. That's my point. I mean, what if what if the killer's blood drops got on the pen and you can't see it, but you process it and you find it? I know that it sounds like a long shot, but I think if Big Jeff were here, he may agree to say, We need a man miracle. We need an Avery miracle.
Test it out. Test it all.
You got to ask for it, though, right?
That's right.
One of the lawyers.
You got to
did.
ask for it first. You got to do the scientific testing, right? You got to. Here's an interesting angle that we don't usually get is up, right? Look in the roof of the ceiling of the car. The moon roof. Nice to have a moon roof. Here are some seats before they were removed. I guess this is how we could tell which was which with that cut out. Now, was that cut taken out for processing? Like because I remember she got some cut. She got some. Didn't KZ receive some of the fabric?
Yep.
For testing?
That's right. I'm pretty sure that's where she Colleen cut, but don't hold me to that because I'm not reading off the document, but I'm pretty sure that's where she cut it out.
I'm pretty
For the
sure
blood
if you look at a picture without the cutting, you'll see that there was a blood spot there. So that's probably what they took.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And that's a lot of fingerprint dust to not find any fingerprints.
You know, you'd think also with that CD cover sitting in that seat there with all that blood on it, there would have been some of that blood down below that on the seat itself. But what do I know?
Right. I mean, unless that blood
All
dried
that blood
before
on
was
it.
on the seat.
I'm pretty sure there was like one drop of blood on the CD case, right?
Well, still.
There was only 6 drops in the whole car. 1 in the back, and then like boop, 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 and then on the dashboard, basically. So,
But there's several spots of blood all over that CD case, and it's like they completely ignored it.
well, there's also that extra spot of blood on the carpet in the back by the big drop, but they don't mention that one.
Ignored
Did
it.
they find Teresa's fingerprints on the outside of her car? See, this is what makes me go. Not that we're aware of. The lack of finding her fingerprints on the car makes you go, someone wiped the car down, because otherwise you'd find her fingerprints, right?
This picture confuses me because there's that big open spot where that box was that they just didn't fingerprint, but I fingerprinted all around it.
Might have been some answers there that they didn't really want to know, or questions they didn't want answered.
Well, it's
I mean, there literally could be fingerprints under that box. Like that was put there after, right? So like,
right. So they do everything but the box. They do the car. They do all.
They don't even do the area of the box. Right. Like, why didn't?
Because the thing is, you don't know that someone has touched the hood of the car. You can't. That wouldn't lead your mind. But if someone put a box on top of the car, they had to touch that box. They had to. So test the box.
Test them both.
I know maybe it's a long shot. Maybe it's nothing. I think just a few more. Okay, so what? I
just found the link to the photos that I shared with you yesterday, Jeff. And Jack, you're already a member on the link.
That's those are all of the ones that Henbury got from Queso, I believe, and Seeking Truth put them on Google Photos, if I remember right. These are all of those photos. I remember these photos.
Odor eliminator. Pure air. All right. And some sort of tissue cloth with a bunch of hair.
I have a comment to Maz. Maz asks, did they check inside her tripod bag? Be a great place to hide that missing iron bar. I noticed that in her back of the car, there's even her own toolkit that came with the car that doesn't even ever seem to have been processed, just sitting back there.
Can you read that? Lint payer with hair? Something.
Yeah, it's lint with hair, I think.
That whole thing, that sticky thing there or whatever, is filled with hair.
Yeah, look at that.
Should have tested.
Probably use that to get Maybe it's cat hair from her cat. You know, like a lint
Okay,
roller.
well then let's find out. Somebody needs to pony up some money for some scientific testing. We'll get a fundraiser going. Gonna get this case moving along. If nobody else is gonna, I'm gonna fundraise. See, what are we gonna get tested? See, now what is this?
If I'm remembering right, these are the bolts that were allegedly out of the front drive shaft, or one of the drive shafts, or transfer unit. But I don't want to say that that's correct. I'm just remembering from Henbury's Know Your Rap series.
Okay.
I think that's right.
Here's a box of
Ammo.
Shotgun.
Yeah, it looks like it. Federal. Yep, that's what it looks like.
Game load is what it's. But we can't really read the label to know. I guess in a high definition photo, we might be able to.
And that one isn't for her case at all. That box.
Which one? This?
That box is from a case from 2004.
That's funny. I'm glad you figured that out.
It says that there's a better picture of that one.
I figured that.
I sent you the link anyway, Jeff, for future references, like of all the photos where they're a lot more clearer, and you can just use them straight from there.
Okay. Yeah, I think when you move them, when you transfer them, they lose their
quality. Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So, non-human bone. Look at all that. From fragments. What's something?
Fragments.
Fragments. Thank you. From 8434. What's 8434? Is that their address?
That's one of the tag numbers that they
property tag.
So it could be one of the barrels or some of the dirt they picked up from the pits or wherever.
And whose barrel's that one?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
We don't know.
We don't.
So wait. They took the bones that they found in the barrel, put them in a bag, put them back in the barrel in the bag to take a picture of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Is that just me or is that weird?
Mm-hmm.
No,
seems like it's
weird.
A picture of these non-human bones back in a barrel. That's. I guess it's supposed to prove they came from that barrel.
Are what you saying that, like, if that's a non-human bone, then what is this down here? Are we supposed to expect that these are human bones?
Did they not finish going through of them?
Yeah,
Did they just decide? They decided they're not human, so we won't do the rest.
I mean, the Three Stooges. I mean, I'm starting to see.
Maybe that's.
I think they just want to buy. They just want to buy new equipment. They're like, let's get some mesh in a bucket, and I'll play around with it for a while. We're not gonna, Oh, it's like performance art. I really believe that. I believe it's performance art. I really do. There's Mr. Remaker.
Look at them. They're all smiling. I mean, how do you smile when you're going through somebody's bones that was murdered?
I mean, I made this joke a while back about, like, if you wanted to plant the Rav and do all these things, the only way you could do it is if you had a paper suit, because you wouldn't leave your DNA. And then just looking at these pictures of, like, what law enforcement had, like, they could get into a vehicle and not leave their DNA by wearing one of these suits. And
sure they could.
Like, they know how to get around planting stuff without, because we always talk about, if you return to the scene of the crime, the chances of you leaving your DNA increase, or just your exposure to the crime scene. So it's, look at the booties they have on there, and you just burn your paper suit when you're done.
I just want to make a observation is they didn't wear any of these suits the whole week that they were on the property in November.
It's funny.
They're touching stuff without gloves and everything else in the videos and pictures. They didn't wear any of this protective gear. Why do you think that is? That they wouldn't wear it at the initial crime scene?
Because they didn't care.
But then decide to take these pictures to make them look like they were actually protecting evidence and stuff.
Right.
They come back in March and they're wearing all the gear to take some
Is
pictures.
that the bonnet that was lent up against the Rambler bonnet that was lent up against
Yeah.
the Rev there on the left?
I think so.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure because of other pictures that I've seen, yeah. Well, that's all I have for this folder. Kathy, you said you had sent me some other stuff?
Oh, I just sent you to the link of where all the
Oh, the
original
link,
photos came from.
Well, I think that's all that I have for picture time. Did you guys have more?
I've got a ton of photos, dude.
Oh, I mean,
You
Jack
guys got to
always
upload all of those photos to Foul Play because now I can't find certain photos that were on Stephen
Avery
Avery's
case. Yep. I'm still trying to get a hold of Skip, and I've not had any luck whatsoever.
I messaged him too, actually, on Twitter and possibly maybe Reddit. I don't know. He said, "When are you going to put this back up? Come on."
Yeah, I checked the site. I checked it earlier, and it's still down.
I know that the Wayback Machine can pull up some stuff. Dark and someone else sent me, it might have been Case, sent me a link to the Wayback Machine. You can still see some stuff there. So get there and download all you can while you can.
Well, pretty much everything that's there, we've got. Yeah, I mean, I don't, what time is it here? I mean, we can show some of these if you want. We're going on midnight my time, but we can show some of these if you want, Jeff, before we take off.
Yeah,
I
if you
can
got
kind
a
of
couple
explain
more, then, yeah, that sounds cool.
Couple more.
Couple more hundreds, couple hundred more.
How
How many pictures are actually that were listed in this case? I think there's like 5,000 or something in the discovery alone. 5,000 something.
I was told that there's 7,300 plus photos taken in this case, and we have 3,000, 300, 400, 500, something like that. I don't know exactly how many we've got, but roughly half of what's out there, maybe a little less. That's what I was told.
But who told you 7? Because then they weren't giving all that stuff to the other people because that's not into the discovery. Like I went through all that discovery stuff and put it in a spreadsheet. Maybe I missed some. I only came up with like 5,300 or something like that. So that means there's 2,000 pictures that like they didn't send to the defense, or we just don't have the discovery of them sending it to the defense, or what? I mean, like, where did they come from?
Well, just think of it as a third party that told me that has them, from what I was told. You know who the third party is, right?
I'm pretty sure I know who that is. But the fact is they got 2,000 more than what we know of. So where did they come from? What made that person so privy to get them? Did they actually get them, or do they just been told?
No, got them. Got hands on.
Well, I don't understand. They don't want to release them to the public, but they'll release them to the public if they like the public. What is that? If they like that person.
Well, she don't release anything.
I'm pretty sure that other site had some of her FOIAs on it, including a YouTube channel.
Well, maybe a few, but by and large.
Which then makes me say, well, why wouldn't you release them? Why wouldn't you want us to have these answers? Why hide it? What's the hiding? What you hiding?
Yeah. That I can't answer. So anyway, these photos here, as I said, Pete Moss sent me that original photo that I mentioned earlier when they were around Stephen's burn barrel and the wheel was sitting there. Anyway, this led to other conversations and even more. And yours did a little digging and voila, found this website where this person, Evan Christensen, had uploaded a ton of photos that we don't know where they came from, basically, or how this person got them, but they did, and they uploaded them. They're bone and biological evidence. I know that's gruesome and gross to think about, but it's evidence. It's part of the case. Now, what I'm going through here is just, these are just kind of, they're not in any particular order. There's a bunch of folders associated with this. So it's not just a bunch of loose photos. There are actual evidence tags, property tag numbers that we can look at as well.
The only thing is just zoom in a little bit if you can.
Oh, yeah. Let me do it this way. Let me draw this. Oh, that's not going to work. I don't know why these are loading so small like that. That is another thing about these photos. They're not very high quality. We got what we could. And
better than nothing. Hey,
better than nothing. Yeah, well, this is a comparison of, her Motorola Razr phone.
Okay.
Way back in the day. Way back in the day, making that comparison. I don't know.
This is what
I don't know if there was
I'll tell you. You can go out and buy a Motorola phone and burn it in a barrel and then buy another one to say, look, it matches.
Yeah, it looks just like this one. Well, what about the serial number? Oh, we don't have the serial number. Come on, don't be like that. Being logical.
The thing that I've always noticed is that it's not burnt enough to it's burnt just enough to make it inoperable, but not destroyed enough to they still want to be able to connect it back to Teresa. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, don't destroy it too much. Right. Just make it so you can't get the information off of it, or any blood off of it, or any material, because it's a good chance that if she had her hand in her phone in her hand, there could be blood on this, and that's why it needed to get vaporized, right? But then
make it circumstantial.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pull it out of the fire quick because we got to be able to use it as evidence. That's where it looks like cops being dirty to me. Now, again, I'm not accusing anyone officially of anything.
I'll share the story, and I'm pretty sure Jinx has heard the story. Kath may have heard it too. I don't know if you've heard it, Jeff, or people that are in the live chat, but many moons ago, and I'm talking about way back when we first got the photos of the burn barrel of the phone and these various pieces and parts, there's a piece of the display, and it's this glass part, and allegedly this thumbprint was embedded on the back of on the glass or the screen part. That this Gilter, he wrote this letter to Manitowoc or Calumet, one of the two. Do you remember this, Jinx, this story about this thumbprint? They said it was Stephen's thumbprint.
I actually don't remember this story.
Yeah, it's pretty old. It's been around a long time. And I can't tell you the Gilter's name, but they're pretty militaristic. Anyway, they sent this letter and talking about this photo and this alleged thumbprint that was on this screen. And it's like, how can you how can you know? Because they hadn't looked at any prints at all, as far as we knew. It's, I've actually, we probably got that letter somewhere. Actually, I'm sure I do. We don't publicize that stuff a lot because, it's a person, we're not necessarily wanting to dox somebody out like that. It's the story itself that's interesting, that a Gilter would go that far to try to implicate Stephen when they can't prove it. It's just crazy shit, Anyway. Another piece of the phone, allegedly. And I think these right here were, one of the agents or something, I think, had a phone or a Motorola Razr to do this comparison with. I think this is how this came about.
I thought they bought a brand new one to do it.
They may have Jinx. I could be wrong.
Plastic on it. See it at the bottom.
I remember this
Yeah.
phone. I had this phone, Motorola Razr. It was really popular.
Oh yeah, I had one company. It was a company issued phone, but it's still actually pretty cool.
I think I had
Battery
the
did-
red thing that was like, red, donate money to help AIDS in Africa or something. There was a red version. Like
Battery
YouTube
didn't
got-
last for shit for me. It was just that
Yeah.
battery would
I think I remember
Okay.
that.
7411, whatever this is. Yeah, it's a fragment. Yeah.
Of
And there's
we don't know.
There's a better. No, I don't know what that is without pulling up the property tag of the. And this here, this could be the other side of that. Like 4/10/2006, but I can't tell any of the rest of it. And again, a lot of these photos are very small. They're little pill boxes.
There's content. You know what I mean? This is actual content here. These are bone for. Oh, there's fragments. Okay. So maybe these are the. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, it's crazy to think that that's all that they have left of her. Just these tiny little bones, a little piece here, a little piece there. Most of it's just gone or vaporized. But you want me to believe that phone was just, I don't know.
Well, a lot of these are gone now too. Keep that in mind. They got given away in 2011. They're gone.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I still don't understand why somebody who
Not
is
human.
burning a body would not just
Chicken
burn
bone.
everything all at once, like in one place. Like they have him running around his yard, burning a body in the pit. He's putting stuff over in this barrel. He's burning in this barrel. This guy's running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Like it looks to me more like they put it there in a planting way. Just like. The plates are all the way over here, and the car's over there.
I don't disagree. Anyway, so
Nice.
getting back to these photos. Yours was able to find this website where this guy had uploaded. There's just dozens and dozens of these photos. Anyway, I've ran through a lot of these that are just directly in the they're directly in the directory. I'm going to back up here and I'm going to go to the folders. Let me get up here. And I don't know if you guys can see this. Yeah, you can see it. You can see all the folders that are listed. All these are property tags.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? Yeah. So these are a little bit better. But they're associated with, that property tag 6197. And, before we take off, we can look at a few of these. We can look at more of them, next time or whenever. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're pretty low quality. DCI, I can't hardly read this.
DCI per sonic.
I can't read it.
If
You
I
would
had
think
more
that-
time with it, I could, but
Yeah.
It says DCI personnel, State Crime Lab.
thank you.
And it's from Reimer.
I haven't
It's
even
like,
got
of course,
my
he's
glasses on, so that's actually a miracle in itself that I could read that.
Suspected bone fragment. That's what it says.
More suspect.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point of putting the little evidence sticker on there if you can just rip it open and then take blood? Well, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Because that's what they did with the blood, right? Like, why even put the sticker?
You can
on
just
there
scotch tape it
you
back
can just-
together.
Exactly. You just scotch tape it back on.
Yeah, I mean, these are fragments that get you, it's just clearly a really small box anyway. So, there's not shit there. And this looks like RD. I guess this is Rick Reimer. I think his name. That's his name. And Reimer's all over this case too. He's another one. And then, of course, this was associated with where this piece came from. As you can see here, this is the animation or whatever Trooper Austin created, the animation part of it. But getting back to this Evan Christensen, we don't really know who he is for sure. We can make a lot of speculative guesses, but this is where these photos were pulled from. It was off this website. Like I said, there's
interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Sure. Yeah. Well,
So,
we love to look through pictures. So.
Yeah, so that just gives you an idea. So if you want to wait, if we can wait till the next time, Jeff.
Yeah. Let's do it.
There's tons. We've got tons of them here. Some of these, there's not that many in each folder. I'll open this one up. See, this one's only got 2. Yeah. Some of them have got more. So. Anyway.
Well, it's been real, that's for sure. As always, we always find a little piece of there. Piece here, and it's been fun. So I guess we will wrap up for today. Thanks everybody in the chat for coming along with us and going through these pictures. I really find it to be so enjoyable to just kind of let's all sit down and kind of go through this stuff. Like as we said, a lot of them, maybe the majority we could say, don't really have relevance all the time.
That's right.
Like those pictures that we showed of those boxes right at the end there. Yeah, I mean that's the box but it doesn't show anything. You're not going to learn anything from that picture. So, but there are some where we go, hey, wait a second, and it's starting to piece together at least the setting, at least understanding what things looked like when you were boots on the ground there. It helps me a lot. So I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I like it. Look at anything visual, listening to calls, listening to even some of the jail calls. They've got relevance.
We might have to do that.
I think the more we go over the photos, the more we go over the calls. We're bound to have missed something over the years, and plus we know so much more than what we did back then. So it's probably going to prove helpful going over it all. In my head, the distance between Cuss Road, the deer camp, Redance, and the Avery property, like it's all so much closer than what I originally thought in my mind. Like looking at the pictures, like everything's so much closer. You know what I mean?
It's really like only across that like that's like probably a 40 acre land, right? That's the quarry between Avery and Redance, right?
Yeah, and just the what you can
right
see
across
from
that
one
field.
vantage point to another as
this
well.
way, I could hit the deer camp with a golf ball from Stephen Avery's backyard. So I mean, it's not that far, right?
Because he's been checking his swing, guys. Just so you know.
It was just, golf junkie. Gotta slip that in there. A golf junkie's gonna golf junkie, Well, unless anybody has anything else to add before we get off, or just wanted to say again, thanks to Calf and Jack and Jinx and Kel for joining in, and everybody coming along for the ride. Appreciate it. So
thanks for having me, Jeff.
Yep. Heck yeah. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for everyone coming and listening and watching and commenting. Thank you as well.
Absolutely.
Keep talking till they're walking.
Yeah. I like that idea. So for Calf and Jack and Mystic Jinx, thanks, and Kel. This is Jeff Jones saying this has been After Discussing a Murder. See you guys.
See you later, guys.